Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell. You'll get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And when I'm not asking Bruce, hey, how big was Batista's? Well, you know. One of the things I like to do is help people save money. And if you're watching this video right now and you're in a 30-year loan, man, you're overpaying your single biggest bill and you may not even realize it. I want you to do a little experiment for me. Take your calculator out, multiply your monthly house payment by 360 payments. That's how many payments there are in a 30-year loan. That big scary number, that's your total of payments. You're looking at that number? You know you can do better. Keep more of your own money right now and go to savewithconrad.com. Or maybe you've got credit card debt. Man, it's not a matter of if I can save you money with that. Your average interest rate on a credit card is more than 20%. And by the way, all the interest you pay on those credit cards, it's not tax deductible. Whereas the mortgage interest, well, that is tax deductible. So if you owe this debt, it's up to you how to pay it back. Doesn't it make sense to get the cheapest rate possible and the greatest tax deduction possible? Find out how much money you can save right now for free at savewithconrad.com. You don't need perfect credit. Even scores in the 500s can be approved, and it's no cost out of pocket. But maybe best of all, we're licensed in more than 40 states. We can help more families than ever before. But how much can we save you? Find out right now for free with a quick quote from savewithconrad.com.
What happened when?
WHW Monday. And now, let's go to the ring. And here's your co-host. Hey, it's Conrad Thompson.
Conrad Thompson, and you're listening to What Happened When? With the voice of your childhood, Tony Schiavone. Tony, what's going on, man? How are you?
Hey, Conrad, I'm pretty excited about doing this program today because I always did like Super Brawl. I guess Starrcade was our top event, and Halloween Havoc could have been considered second. But for me, Super Brawl, maybe because it was positioned close to WrestleMania in the springtime or whatever, was late winter or whatever, was always a great event, I thought.
I loved it as a kid. I remember seeing all the Super Brawl commercials when they were first launching, especially Super Brawl 1 and 2. And then, of course, once Roddy Piper comes back in October of 96, the build for Super Brawl 97 was fantastic with him doing Alcatraz stuff. And then, of course, the build for Super Brawl 98 was pretty memorable with Hogan and Sting and the good old days. But today we're going to be talking about Super Brawl from 1996 and what an interesting time it is in all of wrestling. But golly, man, when I talk about 1996 wrestling, does that make you feel old?
Well, I felt old even before you talked about that. I feel old when I wake up in the morning, damn it. And you will too one day. But here's the deal. Super Brawl to me, I don't know. Super Brawl meant Oz.
Mm-hmm.
It meant Big Josh and his Bears taking a piss on the rampway.
Sure.
It to me, it reminded me of all the goofy stuff that we had done in wrestling. And of course, there's a lot of goofy stuff that goes on in wrestling, and that's all part of what we do. But yeah, it does make me feel old, thinking that, and damn, it goes by so quickly. And I look at some of the people that I work with back then, and damn, they've aged, and I've not.
So let's talk about some news and notes as we head into this pay-per-view, because I find it so interesting that what's old is new again. You know, there's been some talk in more recent weeks about MLW suing WWE here in 2022. Have you heard about that?
I've only read the headline. I haven't read exact. I guess it's I don't know what it's about, but I've just read the headline.
So check this out. This is what we were talking about this time, 1996.
All right.
Directly from the Observer. Vince McMahon came out with guns blazing on all fronts in his no-hold-barred war with the opposition, which he claims isn't WCW, but the entire Turner Empire. Among his maneuvers over the past 7 days, filing a complaint with the Federal Trade Commission, claiming TBS has been engaged in a systematic plan to destroy the WWF so it can achieve a monopoly over the wrestling industry. Boy, that sounds familiar.
Yeah, years later.
Took out quarter-page ads on both Wednesday and Thursday in the New York Times financial section. And they had Jerry McDevitt send a letter to Eric Bischoff demanding an apology for Bischoff's televised insinuations and other insinuations on the hotline that Titan Sports may be responsible for the power failure in Lakeland on the February 5th Nitro. He also wrote a letter to Ted Turner complaining about WCW reinstituting blading and promising bloodbaths on the Super Brawl pay-per-view show. I want to remind everybody, it was blood and guts in December in the WWF when it was Davey Boy and Bret Hart. But now, hey, if they're doing it, well, that's just that's foul. Boy, this all sounds familiar, does it not?
Yeah, it really does. It's like a merry-go-round that never fucking ends, right?
On the surface, it appears to some that McMahon's actions are coming off as desperation. He's admitted at least several times in this past week that he considers his company as fighting for its life, and he's not so worried about what's happening now as much as 6 months from now. And of course, everyone who is hearing all of this is probably drawing some comparisons to what's happening right now. But serious business, the idea that he's trying to claim that this could be a monopoly is just hilarious. By the way, I want to mention Meltzer did his research here. He says WCW says that their commercials are $19,000 a spot for a 30-second spot. The WWF is $15,000. So if anybody is being undercut, WCW is being undercut.
Sure.
But Bischoff does go on Nitro on February 12th and apologize for insinuating that perhaps WWE cut the power. But man, they ran an ad, and I say they, I mean Vince McMahon, ran an ad in the Wall Street Journal Financial Times that said, "Attention TBS stockholders," at a drawing of Ted Turner, and underneath it says, "Does Ted Turner have a personal vendetta against the World Wrestling Federation? Time Warner, beware." And he also faxed a letter or FedExed a letter to Turner that says, "Since there's been no response to my repeated request, and you and your pro wrestling company stop the practice of self-mutilation, I can only assume, based upon the last 2 weeks of Nitro, that the practice of self-mutilation, slicing oneself with a razor blade, is not only condoned but encouraged. As you know, Hulk Hogan has been bleeding all over the place these last 2 weeks, and there have been numerous references on your wrestling program that this weekend's double cage match will be so violent that one opponent will be bleeding to the point of no recognition. This encouraged practice of self-mutilation is disgusting, violent, potentially infectious, and completely contradictory in every way to your testimony before Congress in June of '93, and contrary to your '95 participation of Voices Against Violence. Notwithstanding numerous unprecedented predatory practices against the World Wrestling Federation, if you continue to promote self-mutilation, I hope your stockholders hold you accountable for this unethically guttural, potentially unhealthy practice." This is phenomenal. Of course, if you've been paying attention, not just to the MLW stuff, but the AEW stuff, recently WWE had something to say about the ladies bleeding on AEW, and man, it's just what's old is new again. How about this?
Yeah, once petty and bullshit, always petty and bullshit, I say. And I didn't know he had a problem with ladies bleeding on.
They're trying to essentially attack the advertising agency.
Of course they are.
The way I read it.
Of course they are.
And maybe the folks who were already on the show, you can keep at bay. But if you're trying to sell against them, it would be easy to say, "Oh, you don't want to be on their program. Look what they do." But
yeah,
Lord, it's fascinating to me that, we were talking about this back then. Now we're talking about this now. And it's also similar. And by the way, this whole monopoly business, I want to remind everybody, isn't this the guy that most people believe sabotaged Starrcade and shut the Crockett's down? You were there for that.
Well, he did sabotage Starrcade and shut the Crockett's down. And so, yeah, he's the one that throughout time, everyone has claimed has had a monopoly on the business. But to his credit, he was the one that made the business what it was today. I mean, he did. So I laugh at it. I laugh at wars, and obviously I was involved in it, and obviously I was a part of it. So it's bullshit, Conrad. It's bullshit. Tony Schiavone here to tell you about the greatest value in the history of our great sport. AdFreeShows.com. Get every episode of What Happened When and all of Conrad's other podcasts early, ad-free, and on video for as low as $9 a month. That's the price of a Starbucks coffee for hundreds of hours of video and audio content each month. That's not all. AdFreeShows.com is home to exclusive bonus content, like interactive events where you get to ask me anything during our Ask Tony live events. And if you're a Top Guy member, we got to hang out for the entire weekend in Chicago at Top Guy Weekend recently. Did I mention there's also happy hour every other Sunday with my dear, good, close, personal friend, Rebel? If you call yourself a wrestling fan and haven't signed up for ad-free shows yet, you a lie. Sign up today at adfreeshows.com.
Well, Tony, with that in mind, I think we should get this party on the road. Let's watch a little Super Brawl 6. We encourage you to fire up your Peacock, go on over to Super Brawl, just do that as a search.
You know, that never gets old. Fire up your Peacock.
Yeah, come on now. Super Brawl 6 is what we're doing today. And Tony, I think you've got a special countdown for us. And you know the drill. When he says play, we'll press play.
He says it very, very quickly, by the way.
If he does. I'll be ready.
But it's good.
You know it's all about you.
Let me tell you something, you little skinny motherfucker. I will beat your ass, plus I will beat your ass in video games. I know that you're freaking lying. How's it gonna feel to go back to Connecticut and tell the fuckers that an old 63-year-old man beat your ass?
As Ric Flair challenges the champion, Macho Man Randy Savage. Anything goes. There must be a winner. Hulk Hogan steps into the cage against the Giant. The World Tag Team title is on the line as champion Sting and Lex Luger take on Harlem Heat with the Road Warriors meeting the winner. Johnny B. Bad puts up the TV title and the doll against Diamond Dallas Page at over $6 million. The former champ, one-man gang, challenges Konnan for the U.S. heavyweight title. It's a street fight in Pity City. The Nasty Boys face Public Enemy. And in a respect match with a leather strap, the Taskmaster meets Flying Brian. And now, live from the Bayfront Center in St. Petersburg, Florida, it's Super Brawl 6.
And they are jammed to the rafters of the Bayfront Center in St. Petersburg. The entire world is watching the #1 wrestling organization in the world, World Championship Wrestling. And through the years in this great sport, there's been only one way to settle a feud, only one way to settle a dispute, and that has been in the confines of a steel cage. And hi, everyone, along with Bobby the Brain Heenan and the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, I'm Tony Schiavone, and welcome to our 6th Super Brawl. But this time, Super Brawl has a big feature, 2 cage matches. And I'm with 2 men right here who know a lot about being in a cage. Hulk Hogan and the Giant, anything goes. One man may not walk out of the cage tonight, Dream.
Well, as I said, you can smell danger in the area. You can smell it in the arena, outside of the arena. Hulkamania faced with a stern test tonight. One eye, if you will, going into a steel cage, the most dangerous situation you could put yourself in. But he wants to prove and rid himself of the Giant once and for all. And the Nature Boy Ric Flair faces the Macho Man Randy Savage. World's title, pride, and the Macho Man dealing with an emotional side because of his family. What a matchup that is.
In the cage, the Macho Man and Ric Flair. Ric Flair can walk into a cage and walk out unprecedented 13th World Heavyweight title.
It's very simple. It's like a double date. It's like a double header. We're going to see 2 cage matches, and we're going to see a new world champion, and we're going to see the end of Hulk Hogan.
And we're going to see a lot of furniture moved in our first match as we go to our street fight. Here we go on Super Brawl.
We can cut the audio there. So we've sort of set the stage here for a sellout crowd, 7,200 fans. About 1,200 of those were comps, but you got 6,000 fans here paying $90,000. And turns out there was at least 1,000 people turned away at the door. So
Wow.
had we not given the comps, we could have sold it out legitimately. This is a lot different than the WCW that existed just a few years prior to this, is it not?
Yeah, it's listen, all of it to me is based on Eric Bischoff bringing in Hulk Hogan and Eric Bischoff taking the reins of our company. I think that all, boy, this girl's had too much to drink, and it's only the start of the show. I think it's after all we've been talking about prior to us playing this, that I would say in the open, this is the number one wrestling company in the
I
world.
love it. I love it.
Just another shot.
As we see Public Enemy coming out here, I want to mention something that made the newsletter that just made me howl with laughter.
During this time or just recently?
Way back when.
Way back when. Okay.
Meltzer would write, Johnny Grunge was in the car with Hugh Morris when he was pulled over in Florida. Kevin Sullivan and Eric Bischoff had played a rib on Grunge while he was in Florida and had a guy who pretended to be a cop pretend to arrest him. Did you hear about this? What a rib.
No, I did not, but Kevin Sullivan, man.
I love that so much.
Sullivan was, listen, we just saw the open of the show.
Yes.
Did you see how Sullivan was whipping Brian Pillman with that leather strap? He was not holding back.
No, and they were putting in sound effects for this, which is great. Of course, this is, as many people recall, this is going to become the Brian Pillman show. And we're going to talk about that in a major way. But
yeah,
before we do, I wanted to mention some other news and notes as we head in here. I guess we should first talk about this show. We had a lot of dark matches, or at least shows that were on the pre-show, if you will, matches that were on the pre-show, rather. The Road Warriors are here, and they're on the pre-show, not the pay-per-view. They're going to be taking on Bunkhouse Buck and Dick Slater. Of course, the Roadies get the win in 2 minutes and 6 seconds. As we see Rocco Rock bringing what looks like the world's largest table, and it's still got the skirt on it, which makes it, I don't know, more believable.
I think the Road Warriors ended up did facing the winner of the Harlem Heat match.
But I'm just saying, it's interesting that, you know, we've got that as part of the pre-show, but I guess that makes sense. You know, you want to get, hey, don't you want to see them again and all that jazz?
Sure. And
Chris Kanyon is in the second match, which is also a dark match. It'll be Hugh Morris picking up a win over Chris Kanyon with a moonsault in 228. Dave would say, doesn't Kanyon look like the Giant's little brother? I think it's fun to think about Kanyon being here as a part of the organization way before Mortis. You know what I mean? This is an early appearance by him. Bubba Rogers would team with VK Wall Street to beat Craig Pittman and Joey Maggs. They gave it a dud rating. I can't figure out why. Then Duggan was scheduled to take on a surprise opponent who turned out to be Kevin Sullivan. And after about 30 seconds, Loch Ness waddled to the ring and destroyed Duggan, Pittman, Maggs, Starr, Ricky Santana, and Dave Sierra with elbow drops. It was really bad. -1 star. What's your favorite Loch Ness match?
I remember Loch Ness. I don't remember him from a pay-per-view. I remember him from Center Stage.
Well, he was in Uncensored.
Well, he was?
Yes. So Meltzer would say the show also saw the introduction of an embarrassment of a newcomer, the 53-year-old Loch Ness Monster, which is Luke McMasters from England, who appears to have ballooned every bit of 600 pounds since the last time we'd seen him, and nearly had a coronary doing a pre-show run-in. Worse yet, it was obvious he's being groomed for a key spot in the next pay-per-view opposite Hogan, who, after doing 2 jobs in a row on Nitro, is probably going to get it back by destroying 4 men in 4 cages in a row at Uncensored. So there you go. Loch Ness is here. I did want to mention this whole Hogan doing 2 jobs. This is the era where we saw Arn Anderson beat Hulk Hogan. Would you have ever thought you would have seen that?
No, and thinking about it now, I do remember him beating Hulk Hogan, but I'm trying to rack my brain why they would have Hogan do these 2 jobs.
To prove that he's one of the boys, that he's a team player and all that nonsense.
That's what I thought. Just to try to say, okay, you think that I can't do a job here, I'll do 2 of them type thing.
The Monday Nitro on February 12th in Tampa drew 6,000 fans, but there were only 1,000 paying fans. So the gate for this Nitro is $5,000. Giveaway show put together by Dr. Harvey Schiller and George Steinbrenner. But Lord have mercy, you're running a Nitro and the gate's $5,000. What the hell?
Well, I think that was, as a matter of fact, I'm almost positive that was at the fairgrounds, which was a very small venue, because that was the fairgrounds was the place where George Steinbrenner had an inn or knew of some people or was a part of the board of directors of the fairgrounds, and that's where it ran. So it was a smaller venue in Tampa, and I remember that because there's a picture, I don't know if you've seen, of me and George Steinbrenner and Bobby Heenan and Tina Martinez all together. That was taken at that event at the fairgrounds.
I want to mention we're talking over a pretty fun match. Not a traditional match, of course. This is a street fight. It's going to go 7 minutes and 49 seconds. And we've got a 2-camera shot here. So I encourage you. Oh, big table bump there. If you haven't already, go out of your way to watch this with us. The Nasty Boys ultimately are going to get their hand raised. We've talked about it for years here on the program. They're one of my guilty pleasures. I can't explain why I like them. I do. Meltzer would say this was a brawl using tables, chairs, and a few garbage cans. All the blows were stiff and made great sound, but there was no selling at all and no psychology or story to the match. The crowd was on its feet since the blows were so stiff. At one point, Knobbs slammed Rocco Rock through a table. Sags pile drove Grunge on a garbage can, but Grunge hit Grunge came right back up, I think is what Dave meant.
Yeah.
Hit Sags with the garbage can. Knobbs suplexed the table on Rock. Sags never sold a thing. Grunge used a face buster on Sags on a chair. They wound up brawling to the back where they had a fake concession stand set up. And Rocco came off a low balcony with a senton onto a table. And when Knobbs moved, he went through the table and Knobbs pinned him 2 3/4 stars. Listen, they're brawlers, and this is very much when ECW has a bunch of buzz for doing these type of hardcore matches.
Right.
And perhaps nobody was more over once upon a time in ECW than the Public Enemy. And the Public Enemy need a dance partner. And boy, this is just right up the Nasty Boys alley, is it not?
It is, and it's actually very well done so far.
Yeah.
I find it odd, maybe not odd. I like how they throw things at each other. I find it odd that here we are, I don't know how many minutes into a street fight to open up the show, and there's no juice. And maybe it's because of the letter that you read.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll open up the show and we'll not juice on the first one.
Well, they're probably also in this era saying, if anybody's going to do that, it's got to be Hogan, brother.
Yeah. Well, again, you really, and the old school way is to build to the main event.
Well, but once upon a time, a street fight with all these weapons, people hitting each other in the head with stuff. Yeah. You're going to zippity doo dah.
Meltzer said there was no selling, but damn if Knobbs didn't sell right there, buddy.
Well, I think he meant Sags never sold the thing.
Oh, okay.
All right, so here we go. It looks like we're going to set up the big table spot here.
Yeah.
I'm just curious to hear what Dusty's going to say when this happens. So we'll want to track the audio here.
Okay.
This guy is climbing up in the stand. We have maybe a first. We've got a wrestler in the stands. Doug Dillinger there to protect the fans. He's on top. Rocco Rock. Oh, my goodness.
That's it.
Knobbs moved out of the way.
Pin
He
him.
nails it. 1, 2, 3. This one is over.
Oh, I hope there's no.
Man, that was
replay.
pretty
I don't know
fun.
how to call this.
We can cut the audio here, but I really dug that as a finish. And boy, he didn't get all that table. It just kind of slowed him down.
I dug it as a finish too. I thought it was very, very well done.
And these guys are making more money than they ever did in ECW, I'm sure.
Of course.
Besides getting pretend arrested. And looks like we got some highlights here. What are we seeing here, Tony?
Okay, we are seeing that pile driver on the trash can, suplex on the table, broke it in half, and here's the finish. And fans are with him, as you can see, man. They are just, and he rolled out of the, holy shit. That's not good. Rocco's no longer with us, but man, had he grown old, he would have felt that hip shot on the floor a lot. Man, protect your hips, guys and girls. Protect your hips.
I thought it was protect your neck. Inspector Deck. I thought that's what it was.
Okay. I say protect your hips. because you want to. Oh, here we go. Bring Gene in here.
Let's listen to Gene.
Here in Tampa, Super Brawl VI underway, and what a phenomenal way to kick it all off with that street fight between the Nasty Boys and Public Enemy. Ladies and gentlemen, I talked about it earlier on the main event. On the hotline tonight, we're going to be talking about the rumor that two World Wrestling Federation former champions could be on their way to World Championship Wrestling. I understand it may even come as a surprise to the office up in the New York area. We'll talk about it tonight on the hotline. Mike today and myself, plus exclusive backstage coverage. Give us a call at 1-900-909-9900. That's 1-900-909-9900. At Super Brawl tonight, one of the fantastic matches. Pitt's my guest at this time. He collectively holds the United States and the Mexican titles. Konnan, come on in. He is a relative newcomer to World Championship Wrestling, but certainly not to this great sport. Tonight, we've got to return this title on the line as you meet the big man, the one-man gang.
Yeah, I just want to say one thing. I want to say thanks to all the Latins who have been writing in, who have been congratulating me on being the new U.S. champion. There's no way I'm going to let you people down. A todos los latinos que están ahí afuera, a todos los cubanos, puertorriqueños, mexicanos, a toda mi gente, a toda mi raza. Yo me voy como llegué, como campeón de los Estados Unidos. Let me just clarify that to everybody. One-man gang, you're taller, you're heavier, but tonight I will be smarter. I am going to leave just as I came in, as U.S. champion.
All right, Konnan, very good. Remember, this man is well over 300 pounds. You're going to have to deal with that kind of girth, that kind of mass.
I've faced him before, and you know what? I got my game plan, my strategy. The one who should be watching out is him.
A tremendous international reputation again. He is the United States and the Mexican title holder tonight. This U.S. title on the line against the one-man gang. Konnan, you're going to be on your way to the ring. I thank you very much. In the meantime, speaking of the ring, let's get back to the ring. Dave Pinzer, Meshuggah, the Landsman is standing by for more of the introductions.
We can cut it there, but my goodness, how about that outfit Konnan was wearing? And man, you've talked about it a lot. Wrestlers watching themselves on the monitor. Konnan barely made eye contact with the camera there. He was just staring down the monitor, was he not?
Yeah, just staring at the monitor is what he was doing, and that always bugged me. But God, Gene Okerlund was wonderful.
Yes, he was.
And of course, taking some shots over the, across the bow to the WWF, the New York office. And then again, how will we ever forget? We will never forget 1-900-909-9900.
Yeah.
That number is just in our brains, right?
Yes, it is ingrained permanently.
Yes.
Speaking of also other things that are ingrained, how roll tide is Kimberly here?
Oh man. Kimberly was a 10, an absolute 10.
Probably still is wherever
Yeah,
she.
probably so. And I do understand that, and I may be wrong. You may know more than I understand her and Dallas, even though they're no longer married, are still very good friends.
Very good friends. I actually saw them together years ago.
Right.
When he had been remarried, and I believe she was too. They were still hanging out WrestleMania weekend.
Right.
With their spouses and the whole deal. So yeah, still great friends all this time later. And man, that's nice when you can hear that people can still do that. And I hate when people are, torn apart and no longer friendly. And
yeah, that's terrible.
Yeah, you can at least be friends. Come on.
Especially if you have children, which they did not have, but still it's not good for anything. You just try to, put it all behind you. I mean, don't be like me and hold grudges for the rest of your life.
Yeah, nobody wants to be like Tony Schiavone. And there you go, $6 million on the line. Oh. It says there's 6,600,000. There's Linda Hogan.
Wow, how about Linda Hogan?
They didn't even give her front row. They put her in the second row.
Well, there you go.
Maybe that's why she's still pissed off at Hulk all these years later.
I can't comment on that.
Second row to Super Brawl. This is bullshit, Terry.
Not only that, they didn't even. Maybe we're going to show her during his match. I don't know, or maybe we're going to. There was actually money in there. Did you notice that?
That was the whole house from that $5,000 night. So this match is something we've seen about 182 times on pay-per-view. It's Johnny B. Bad and Diamond Dallas Page for $6.6 million and the WCW television title. Unbelievably, they go 14 minutes and 59 seconds. DDP here had yet to really dial it in. He's going to become a mega star in about 11 months. but boy, he's still perfecting his in-ring craft and just his persona. This jacket looks like something Lois would wear down to the Walmart.
Lois doesn't leave the house anymore, so I wouldn't know. Lois, I bought Lois a car. The car is 3 years old now. 18, 19, 20. Yeah. 3 years old, over 3 years old.
She bought it 3 years ago for her.
3 years ago, new.
Okay.
And she still doesn't have 10,000 miles on it.
So she's had it to drive for 3 years, and she has less than 10,000 miles on it.
Yeah.
Wow. So
she doesn't go anywhere. So she wouldn't. But I would love to see her in a coat like that at Walmart.
Does she go to church?
No, she does not. Doesn't go anywhere. Her doctor visits are all virtual, right?
So when was the last time you reckon she left the house? I'm being serious.
The last time she left the house was Christmas. That was the last time she left the house.
So as you and I are recording, it was a month ago.
Yeah.
So she has not been outside of the home or off your property in 30 days.
Right.
Yeah, are y'all getting her like fixed up with a bubble or?
We probably should. She doesn't go anywhere.
Man, that would be cool if we could get Lois a bubble.
Wouldn't that be cool?
Dude, I would love that. Could we get like a microphone inside the bubble?
No, I'm sure we could not.
Well, there's no camera. She didn't want Tony. They can't see me in the bubble. But people always talk about, as wrestling fans, are you in the bubble? Lois would actually be in the bubble.
Be in the bubble, right?
I love it.
Yeah, she goes nowhere. So, but that's okay. She is the.
So with that in mind, you're going to come watch the Super Bowl with us. Just FaceTime her in her bubble.
No, I don't even FaceTime her. I just call her, text her. I know what she looks like. I don't need to FaceTime her.
Oh, wow. Roll Tide.
Do you do a lot of FaceTiming?
No.
Yeah, me neither.
As a rule of thumb, if your wife is FaceTiming you, it's to keep you accountable for what you're doing.
There you go. Now we do FaceTime with the grandkids a lot.
Well, that's different. You're excited to see them.
Right.
You hadn't been waking up with their ass for 51 years.
Exactly. But no, there's no FaceTiming going on here.
So as you and I are recording this, we're still ahead of our St. Louis show. But as everyone's listening to this, the Royal Rumble's in the rearview mirror. So, Tony, what'd you think of St. Louis?
Never liked the Cardinals that much. I haven't disliked them. I know they got rid of my friend Mike Schilt as manager, so that disappointed me. They probably could use another football team. Never really had a basketball team with the exception of the Spirits of St. Louis and the old ABA. Probably could do well with a hockey team. Anything else?
I meant hanging out with me and Jeff. And Eric.
Oh, yeah, it was great. Had a wonderful time backstage. I wanted to come on stage with you guys, but we had a little disagreement in the back over money. So I decided not to make an appearance, just hang out and eat pizza in the back.
Just screw the fans. I get it.
Well, no, I didn't want to screw the fans, but they need to. Obviously, had I walked out, they probably would have had to pay a little bit more money at the gate. So I didn't want to have to go and pass the hat again.
When did you become such a big star? Do you remember?
I've never been a big star. You fucking lily. Whoa, look at that. Nicely done.
Why are you cussing me? I don't understand where all this anger comes from.
I guess it comes from just being an old man all these years. Once you get old, it's like flavity flea. I'm old.
Let's get you mad here.
Okay. No, let's not.
The announcing, even though Dusty Rhodes was part of the trio, wasn't bad. Part of the reason was they didn't have any progressive style matches to call, with mainly bad matches or old style good matches. They had no problems. Bobby Heenan kept doing the same comedy routine over and over to the point where it started out funny but got really old.
Mm.
Did you ever think some of Bobby Heenan's stuff here in WCW got old?
I thought it was repetitive at times, but it never got old on me. It always entertained me.
Let's talk about some folks who were at the show. This jumped off the page to me.
All right.
Pat Patterson and Louis Dondero, his life partner, were at the show.
Who?
Do you remember seeing Pat Patterson here?
No. Pat
Isn't that
would not.
amazing? Pat at a WCW show.
Pat would have never come backstage, even if he's here.
Other numerous Tampa area wrestlers were here. Mike Graham, Ryan Blair, Bushwhackers, Warlord, Johnny Ace, Al Green, and also at the meeting was AAA President Antonio Pena, who had a meeting with Bischoff over the weekend about the two companies working together. Remember running into any of these guys? Did the Bushwhackers come lick your head or something like that?
No, they did not.
Would
And,
you
and
have
again,
licked
again,
your head?
Conrad, listen, this was a long time ago. I don't remember half these matches, much less who was backstage.
Right.
So,
Did you ever have the Bushwhackers lick your head?
no, I did not.
Are you jealous that you never did?
No. I wonder if in this era, if licking heads would have been really taboo.
No, I think it was fine. They were still licking heads here.
No, I'm talking about now in 2022.
Oh, I don't think you can lick heads now.
Yeah, because of COVID.
Especially children's heads. They should have never been licking kids' heads in hindsight.
Yeah. But it was kind of like a badge of honor, right?
Yeah, listen, I never really was a Bushwhacker fan, but Cassio Kid, they were his favorite tag team. And when he told me that, it made me wonder, like, how and why are we friends?
He loved the Bushwhackers, huh?
Man, when we were watching the GCW pay-per-view a couple of weeks back, and when the Briscoes came out, he said, man, they're like a cool Bushwhackers. And I said, hey, man, if you just want to go ahead and beat the traffic, or just, cut out of here now, that'd be good. The Briscoes were the Bush. Like, if they heard that, Jay and Mark would come beat the fuck out of him.
I don't know about that. Bushwhackers were a hell of a team. And listen, they may be more of like the old sheep herders, right? Because the sheep herders and the Bushwhackers, although were the same team, were much different.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, the Bushwhackers were a comedy act.
That's right.
I want to mention, as we said, these guys go 14:59. Meltzer liked it. He said it was their typical good match with lots of good near falls and a good build. From a wrestling standpoint, this blew away everything else on the show.
Oh.
Bad reversed Page's attempt at a tombstone pile driver and delivered one of his own for the win. 3.25 stars. That tells you where DDP is and where Mark Mero is. I mean, these guys once upon a time were not beloved in the newsletter. But for Dave to just throw those heaping compliments on, it shows you how hard they've been working. And I'm glad to see it, that all these years later, we can really appreciate the work and effort that went in, because once upon a time, they were not exactly the sharpest knife in the drawer, as we like to play.
Yeah. Do you think that any show that Hogan is on,
He's going to shit on it.
Yeah, he's going to shit on the show itself overall, but he's going to elevate any other match compared to all the other matches are going to look great because he hates Hogan so much. There has to be something more to the Dave Meltzer Hulk Hogan relationship than Meltzer not liking to watch him wrestle.
Let's talk about a company meeting here. I'm not sure if you were at these Universal tapings on February 7th, but it's written here that Bischoff had a company meeting with all the wrestlers prior to those tapings. And Meltzer would say, Bischoff ran down Vince McMahon, telling the wrestlers that for the first time, they were kicking the WWF's ass. And for the first time ever, the company made a profit. He admitted the profit was small, but at least it wasn't a loss. He talked about moving the company headquarters from Atlanta to Orlando, hinting it could be done in 6 to 8 months down the line. But when the wrestlers asked, he said not to start looking for new homes yet for the guys that live in Atlanta. He said the company would shut down for 5 weeks if they make the move, and that the WCW Saturday Night Show would eventually be taped in Orlando at Disney or Universal instead of Center Stage. By the way, that was written he said that because Center Stage had just recently been sold to new owners.
Okay.
He also said they were working on getting medical insurance through AETNA, and then most, but not all, the contracted wrestlers and several wrestlers who were all considered being put under contract, like Brad Armstrong and Pat Tanaka, were all drug tested here.
Okay.
And Meltzer would say he believes this is a precautionary measure, since the belief was that Titan is going to start bringing up that WCW doesn't do drug testing.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting little speech here. And Bischoff is going to admit that they're way behind the WWF when it comes to merchandising, but it's an area they're going to work on in 96. And the reports that Meltzer got said it was unanimously positive. Do you remember this sort of rah-rah speech from Bischoff?
I remember a lot of speeches from Bischoff, and a lot of them be rah-rah speeches. I do remember this speech, but I don't remember, to be honest with you, I do not look at Pedro. Wow. But I don't remember him bringing up Orlando. Man, if he would have brought up Orlando, that would have resonated with me big time, because I would not have wanted to move my family to Orlando.
So you would have went back and lived in Connecticut?
No, I would not have wanted to. I didn't say I wouldn't have.
Yeah.
Would not have wanted to. I mean, I just, basically in 1990 pulled up roots and moved to Atlanta.
What if Tony required that you move to Jacksonville? Would you want to move to that shithole? Jacksonville sucks.
Well, listen, it wouldn't be as difficult now as it would have been back then.
Yeah, with all the youngins.
Right. So
Yeah, I mean, if you had to take all the kids, I mean, some of them would have been bullied, others stabbed. You could have had a kid burned alive, going to those Jacksonville schools.
wow, you're like, you're really hating on Jacksonville.
Well, it sucks.
Really?
Yeah, listen, I'm not going to say this on JR show, but the Jacksonville beaches suck. Nobody vacations in Jacksonville.
A lot of people vacation in Jacksonville, Conrad.
No, not unless, I mean, maybe they take EBT down there. I don't know, but
Jesus.
nobody's like, boy, anywhere I could go in Florida, I'm going to fucking Jacksonville. It would be like my 38th choice.
Okay.
I would go to Jacksonville for football. I actually like watching games there.
Okay.
Years ago, I actually saw I saw Florida State and Alabama play there. It's the first time I was in that stadium.
Yeah.
And I've been down there a bunch for work. Like, if you're going to live on the bay in Jacksonville, I think it's awesome. Like, if you were going to have a house on the bay in Jacksonville, okay, count me in. That's really, really cool. But damnation, I'm going to have to vacation on a Jacksonville beach. Like, you got a cool golf course down there.
Mm-hmm.
Sawgrass or whatever. Like, there's some cool stuff in Jacksonville.
A little bit south of there, like between Jacksonville and St. Augustine, pretty cool places.
Listen, this is me busting balls on the show. I do it every week. I don't know why you're getting hot about. I call some of your kids jobbers, and you're fine with it. But then I say a bad word about Jacksonville, and you're like, "You God damn it!"
I didn't react that way at all. I just was. You just said Jacksonville sucks, and I was saying, "Wow, that's pretty harsh."
All the time about your home, Craigsville, West Virginia.
It is Craigsville, Virginia. Now I am getting hot if you don't stop that bullshit.
Hey, let's talk about February 5th. Sherry Martel was fired. Meltzer would say on the live Nitro, she was scheduled to do an angle. She was going to destroy Rob Parker's car with a baseball bat or sledgehammer, but she was in no condition to do so. She's been on thin ice since missing her plane for the Japanese shows in November, and there appears to be some concern she might file suit against the company. What do you remember about hearing that the lady who used to call you Mrs. S, Mr. S, was no longer here?
I think we all expected it. We all knew that she was having personal problems, and I think it was no surprise that she finally got the axe. I think many of us were, and I know, speaking for myself, I think many of us were sad because, I mean, we liked her. Heenan was always like rolled his eyes about her, was scared of her. Like, she's like out of control, and she comes over towards us at ringside. You never know what she's going to do. And I think I had a lot more in my heart for her than Heenan did. And the Heenan, of course, worked with her in the WWF all those years. But I felt sorry for her, felt sad, and still do. I feel sorry about her life because I know she had a lot of personal problems, and she passed away young. Do you remember how old she was when she passed away? Do you have that at your fingertips? Look it up.
I got Google and shit like that.
I know you do.
Unfortunately, she passed away when she was only 49 years old.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Way, way, way too young.
Yeah, and God, I mean, if you take a look at managers and female wrestlers, she was one of the best. She was one of the best managers. She was so, and of course, probably a lot of times she was coked out, but she was so active at ringside and so into the matches. She was She was better than anybody else when she was on her game, wasn't she?
Did you just say coked out?
Yeah.
When was the last time you got all coked out, Tony?
I've never had Coke. Oh, glad you brought that up.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Got a good Coke story. Here we go.
I have a good Coca-Cola story.
Oh, that's weak.
And I go into the store the other day, one of the stores that I frequent, and guess what's on the shelf?
Surge.
No.
Johnny B. Bad is your winner. Big pop from Johnny B. Bad.
Oh, God.
Why did that get you?
I don't know. Because Surge was our drink of choice back then, right? I mean, but no, it's not Surge. What was on the shelf was Mellow Yellow Zero. It has made its return from COVID. And it's like, during COVID, it's like, oh, man, we're not going to do Mellow Yellow Zero anymore because it's COVID. And we're going to take it off the shelves. And it came back. And I looked at it, and I sent a text to Lois. I said, guess what? And I showed a picture. I said, guess what's back? Mellow Yellow Zero. And then I said, but Coca-Cola can kiss my ass. I've moved on. I used to drink 4 or 5 Mellow Yellow Zeros a day. Okay? I would not drink it now if you gave me a truckload. They can keep it.
You're so hateful, man.
They can keep it. I moved on. This bullshit about because of COVID, we had to stop making Mellow Yellow Zero. Why? Well, give me a reason. Did the guy that invented Mellow Yellow Zero get COVID? And you couldn't rack his brain. What's the formula? Oh, I don't know. I got COVID. I can't think. I don't know. As you can tell, I'm pissed off about it leaving my life for all this time. So now I drink Monsters. Oh, wait a minute. Let's track this.
As you saw during a live national telecast, it was Booker T, Stevie Ray, the Harlem Heat coming up on the short end of the deal in their match with Lex Luger and Sting. However, tonight, gentlemen, the rematch is going to take place. And as they say, it's for all the marbles, the WCW Tag Team titles.
You know, Gene, there comes a time in a man's life when he has to put his foot down about things that's going on. And I know you and every sucker out there that's listening to me know what I mean. Lex Luger, like I said before, sucker, you committed grand larceny. And tonight, we gonna get you. And if birds of a feather flock together, Sting, that means you just like him. And the hit list is out for you too. When the night is over, when the smoke clears, Harlem Heat will still be the best team in WCW because we will own the gold, sucker.
Booker T.
All I got to say is these two sissified suckers, a couple of punks, straight glitter boys, college punks, they don't know what they got into. They took us down in Vegas by,
About the dollars, brother.
let me tell you, silver dollar style, straight OG style. We got gang. They pull on us what we were supposed to be pulling on them. But tonight, Sting, Lex Luger, especially you, sucker, watch your back and watch your back hard because me and my brother, we refuse to leave tonight without our World Tag Team belt, if you understand what I'm saying, man.
Wait a minute, gentlemen. Let me clarify one thing. If you should win this match against Luger and Sting, it's kind of out of the frying pan into the fire because then you'd have to face the Road Warriors.
You know, like I always say, the answer was a good call. This ain't 1976, this 1996, and the Harlem Heat is taking the tag team picture straight into the future. If you understand what I'm talking about, sucker.
Big night for tag team action here at Super Brawl. Tony, Bobby, Dust, let's get back to you guys.
Well, of course, it happened just this past Monday on Nitro. Where
The old Harlem Heat promos, and just as soon as Stevie Ray opened his mouth, you started laughing.
Yeah, because I've always liked Stevie Ray. He always made me laugh. I thought he was a great co-host on Worldwide. Just a funny guy. And I need to watch more of Gene Okerlund's mannerisms and how he conducted interviews.
Are you actually going to start trying at your job? Is that what you're insinuating here?
I've always tried at my job.
Oh, okay.
What the hell are you talking about?
Well, I mean, you've kind of said before that you were just like phoning it in. Shivani,
No,
I think
no,
is
not during this era.
Oh, okay.
That's
I mean,
to
you weren't
come.
putting much effort into your wardrobe here. How would you describe what you're wearing?
Okay, this is a very nice tux with a black button-up shirt.
Oh, okay.
I don't have jeans like Dusty.
Well, Dusty was a cowboy, you see.
Oh, got it. He can get away with that.
So, you remember how we were talking? As we're starting match number 3 here.
Mm-hmm.
Remember how we were talking earlier about Johnny Grunge getting pranked by Kevin Sullivan and Eric
Yes.
Bischoff?
Yes.
Now that was what ran 1 week after this story. And I want to say in a loud and clear voice, I love me some Dave Meltzer. I love the Observer. I read it every week and have since 1997. Big fan. Highly recommend you subscribe.
Okay.
But this ran a week before.
Okay.
There's been talk that Johnny Grunge may be suspended for 6 weeks, effective February 13th, but I'm not positive of that. If it were the case, Rocco Rock would also have 6 weeks off, but he'd be paid since he wasn't involved in the incident. A few corrections from last week's report. Rocco Rock was definitely not in the van with Grunge when it was pulled over. One report said it was Hugh Morris in the van, and another said it was nobody in the van, but it was not a WCW production van, but a hotel van reserved for WCW production people, and the clerk at the hotel gave Grunge the keys, figuring it was okay since he worked for WCW. Grunge's blood alcohol level was 0.08, which is the minimum for a DUI. He's scheduled for arraignment on February 22nd, although he himself doesn't have to attend.
Okay.
So originally 1 week, hey, Johnny Grunge stole a WCW production truck and got a DUI. The next week, hey, he's probably going to be suspended for 6 weeks, but it wasn't a WCW production van. It was a hotel van.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to be arraigned on such and such date. And the next week, hey, it was a rib. Kevin Sullivan and Eric Bischoff had a fake cop pretend to arrest him.
Yeah. Well, you know what that is? That's looking for a headline.
That's rumor and innuendo.
That's rumor and innuendo, which is it's what basically wrestling reporters on the internet are all about now. They don't check their facts now. They just run with shit.
Let's talk about some other news and notes. Barry Didinsky has been talked about coming in to upgrade the merchandising side. Do you remember Barry?
I do not.
What about Scott Norton and Ice Train? It's discussed here that they're going to be put together as a babyface tag team called Fire and Ice. And Norton,
remember that.
Thrilled about that.
Mm-hmm.
Remember Norton not being happy about that?
Yes. Scott has changed a great deal. Scott was kind of a
prick.
No, wasn't a prick. Kind of a grumpy guy at times, you know?
Oh, like you.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
At his core, Scott Norton was a great guy, but he seemed like he was grumpy a lot. So, yeah, I remember him not liking that, but there you go. Hey, Luger and Sting together. Look at Sting's haircut.
Yeah, man. We're a little ways away from Crow Sting. This is sort of the dying days of Surfer Sting.
Right.
We're going to see Sting and Luger take on Harlem Heat. And of course, in this era, Lex Luger is like kind of low key a heel, but pretending to be a baby face. I enjoyed this era of Lex's stuff.
Yeah. Then as you can tell, Sting was arguing with Lex there. So they're playing that up a great deal. The old Bayfront Center is no longer around from what I understand.
Some more news and notes here. Chris Benoit joined Eddie Guerrero and Dean Malenko in signing new contracts with WCW.
Whoa.
Rumor has the price pegged in the $150,000 range. He's expected to move from Edmonton to Atlanta. Man, how about that as just a talent acquisition? Benoit, Guerrero, Malenko.
Mm-hmm.
When the bell rang, those were some ass kickers right there, bud.
Oh yeah, they were the juice behind WCW, and you throw Chris Jericho in there and Juventud and the cruiserweights and all that they did. Eddie Guerrero is still loved and revered, and well, he should be for many reasons. Not only because of how great a performer he was, but how good of a guy he was, and how much of really a leader he was backstage. And every time you say Eddie's name, I really miss him. Really, really do. And boy, what a You take a look at what's going on today, and Eddie had an impact on what is going on today, and he would still be involved in wrestling today,
Oh,
wouldn't he?
big time. And he would love it too.
Yeah, he really would.
This
Look at
is,
Luke.
of course, Sting and Lex Luger going to be taking on Harlem Heat here for the tag titles. They're going to go 11 minutes and 49 seconds. And as a reminder, the winner of this match is going to face the Road Warriors later in the show. Meltzer would say the funny part about it is the announcers kept selling the storyline that the Warriors hadn't wrestled that night so they could be fresh, although what they did earlier could only be used by the loosest terms as wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
They were in a match that night. Booker T and Sting did some good athletic spots, but had no transitions. You don't even want to know about Luger and Stevie Ray.
Mm-hmm.
Below average, but not that bad. Finish saw Ray have Luger in a backbreaker over the shoulder when the Warriors did a run in. An animal hit Ray with a metal object, allowing Luger to score the pin. 1.5 stars.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man, he was not a fan of Lex Luger or Stevie Ray here.
Well, Lex Luger was not good in the ring, but he looked great. And Stevie was not the best in the ring. I mean, obviously Booker T was the better of the two and went on to have a better career. But you know what? Stevie Ray's credit, man, and we're watching it right now, he could throw a punch. He could throw a working punch. He was bad. I was just thinking as we were talking there, and Luger had Stevie Ray back into a corner. Luger was terrible at throwing working punches, but Stevie Ray really could. So there were good and bad things about every wrestler.
Let's talk about some news and notes. There's no competition on Monday Night Raw one week in this era because it's the dog show.
Oh,
So
yeah.
Nitro's here preempted, and as a result, Nitro sets a record rating, 3.7 and a 5.3 share. Even the replay does a 1.3 and a 3.8 share. But what's interesting about that is even though Nitro set its all-time record here on February 12th with no Raw opposition, TNT still actually lost to USA because the dog show whipped its ass, 3.9.
Yeah, man. You know what? Listen, hey.
You think your luchador can fuck with this Yorkie? Get out of here.
Listen, I'm all for dogs, as you know. So yeah, I would. Hey, had it
You'd
been
rather
me,
watch the dogs.
I would rather watch a dog show than wrestling. Back then,
I love you for that.
yeah, really would. Love the dog show. As a matter of fact, the dog show is a fixture now on Thanksgiving, I believe.
I want to mention the house show business is coming back here for WCW. Eric had put a pause on that for a bit, but they did $216,000 across 3 weekend dates. So it seems like Flair and Savage is a bit of a draw. The February 17th show at the Baltimore Arena drew 11,000 fans. 8,000 of them are paid.
Wow.
It's a $102,000 gate, and legitimately, it's the first $100,000 gate for a non-pay-per-view show in the history of the company since Jim Crockett did it in like 88.
Wow. That's quite a number.
Isn't that big time?
That is big time.
Now listen, these days, that sound like a lot, but adjusted for inflation, blah, blah, blah. And considering where WCW had been, it's a big damn deal to have 6 figures.
Yeah. It really is. And we are not at our peak right now either. I mean,
we talked earlier about Center Stage being sold.
Yay.
Did you hear that at the time? I mean, I know you were not a big fan, but do you remember there being a worry that, oh man, if we're not doing it here, where are we going to do it? And I know you may not have liked the venue, but you had to love the proximity to your home.
Yeah, I like that. You know what? This is stupid, and it was stupid back in the day to think it, and it's stupid for me to think about it now. But I remember hearing about Center Stage being sold, and my first thought was, let's go back to the studios on Techwood. Let's do the old school shit.
That would have been awesome.
Yeah, and there was never any thought about that. I don't know if they had what had gone on at Techwood at that time. Maybe they had scrapped that studio or whatever, but that's what I thought. And of course, that was me, still being in the Crockett mindset. Let's bring it back to this. But I didn't give a shit where we did it. I mean, we could have done it at Marietta Civic Center, Cobb County Civic Center. We could have done it at the Gainesville, Georgia Mountain Center. And there was a time prior to this when I first came back, and Ole Anderson was the booker, and this was like 1990 during the Jim Hurt era, that we did our TV shows at the Cobb County Civic Center one week and the Georgia Mountain Center the next week. Cobb County Civic Center, Georgia Mountain Center. We just went back and forth between the two. And I don't know how long that lasted, but I remember us doing that because I remember Ole thinking and Ole talking to me about it, that why are we going elsewhere when we got these two great venues close to us and we can do TV there?
Right.
So I thought, yeah, center stage, take that rat hole and implode it, and let's go somewhere else.
Rat hole. Listen to you.
Well, hey, if you can rip on Jacksonville, I can rip on center stage.
I'm not arguing that. It's just, damn.
Well, a lot of memorable things happen to center stage. I get it. Look at that. Oh, Lord. Oh, that was bad. Wanted to do a lariat across the face, and he missed, hit him across the chest, and Stevie Ray fell down as well. Fans are not into this either, are they?
No, I don't think I know they love Sting.
Right.
But it's probably hard to make heads or tails of the whole Luger thing. Like, is he a babyface? Is he a heel? Does he want to be here? Does he not?
Right.
And then, it's hard to boo Harlem Heat. I know Harlem Heat are positioned here as heels, but Harlem Heat are cool.
Sure they are.
And so you kind of don't want to shit on that either.
Mm-hmm.
I want to mention the preliminary indications about the buy rate here, according to Meltzer, were a 0.63 buy rate, and WCW officials are pegging the figure at 0.7, which he would say is conceivably accurate. The number would be slightly higher than Halloween Havoc, which would be a huge increase over both World War III and Starrcade. The 0.63 figure would approximately mean 148,000 buys and a $1.86 million company gross. So even though we're saying, hey, this is not a great pay-per-view, 148,000 buys isn't the worst thing we ever heard.
148,000 buys?
Yeah.
That's a lot of money, buddy.
Yeah, man.
What was the price point back then?
I believe this is $24.95.
Okay, so you say $25 times 148,000 is a lot of money.
1.86 million is the company gross.
Okay. Yeah, there you go. Back then, we always thought that pay-per-views were just basically cash cows.
They were.
Yeah, they were. And that's why we started doing them once a month.
The July Bash at the Beach show, which we know in hindsight, boy, what a big day that's going to be. It's when Hulk Hogan becomes a bad guy and joins the NWO. Mm-hmm. It was moved in this era from Lake Tahoe, California to Daytona Beach. In hindsight, do you think that would have made a difference?
Yeah, I do.
The fans, the talent.
Yeah.
What would have been the difference?
The fans, I think. Lake Tahoe?
Yeah, man.
All right. What's the clientele there? I mean, that's the same Lake Tahoe for that all the rich people go and spend time in, right?
Yep.
All right, there you go. A tourist town, maybe at the I don't know.
I love you said it's where rich people go.
Yeah. It is. It's where rich people go. So I think Daytona Beach was the place. It was always a good venue for us. It's a good, solid wrestling venue. Lake Tahoe was not. Not that I'm aware of. It could have been back in the day. Was Lake Tahoe a regular stop were the promoters out there in California? I don't think so. And by the way, who were the promoters in California back in the day? I don't even know who ran California. Was that AWA territory? Was that Don Owens?
Royshire.
Royshire, okay.
Hey, so this show overall that we're watching got 21.8% thumbs up, 59.7% thumbs down, and 18.5% thumbs in the middle. The best match poll went to Ric Flair and Randy Savage. Second place was Nasty's and Public Enemy. Third place was Johnny B. Bad and Diamond Dallas Page. And the worst match poll, probably no surprise, Konnan and One Man Gang, followed by Kevin Sullivan and Brian Pillman, which is going to be a whole new story. And of course, Hulk Hogan and the Giant got 43 votes. the whole Brian Pillman thing is really the story of this entire show.
Okay.
Don't you think?
You know what? Wow, look at this. There's
And
the
I ought to
finish.
do it. That's the finish.
Oh, didn't even do that well. I'm gonna play old guy forgets his hat again. I don't remember the Brian Pillman story here.
I respect you, Booker Man. Does that ring a bell?
Yeah, no, kind of.
A work shoot with Brian Pillman, quitting, getting fired, showing up in ECW, the loose cannon. None of that rings a bell.
No.
What'd you have for breakfast yesterday?
I don't know. That was St. Louis. I don't know.
Is Lois still in her bubble? We need one, a bigger bubble to include yours as well.
She's not making breakfast. She's on Facebook.
Well, listen, this is, as you and I are recording, it's no longer a weekend. We're recording ahead of time because you and I were both in St. Louis this past weekend, even though you refused to show your face in public.
Yeah.
So yeah, my wife at 9:07 on a Tuesday, she's doing medical research. And speaking of medical research, I wish we had some to save Gene. Let's track Gene here.
On in. Congratulations on retaining the WCW Tag Team titles. But Sting and Mr. Luger, you know what went on. There was outside interference that I saw, even though the referee didn't see it.
Well, I told everybody else at Stinger, I told you that I would hold up my end of the bargain. I'd be there for you. I was there for the win. We were the tag team in the 90s. This is our destiny. It's up and over the very top for Stinger and Lex Luger because we're the world tag team champions. I told you so, Stinger, and the Road Warriors are next.
Did you see what happened? Did you see what happened?
What do you mean, did I see what happened?
Did you see what happened? The Road Warriors interfered.
Champions again, I can't believe it, package. I should never question you. I am with the program, yeah.
But gentlemen, it's out of the frying pan and into the fire. I can't help but think this was all by arrangement, perhaps. You saw what happened, the Road Warriors coming in with that steel plate and nailing one of the Harlem Heat. Subsequently, Lex Luger getting the pin and the victory as they retain the WCW Tag Team titles here in front of this capacity crowd at Super Brawl number 6. Gentlemen, I'm going to throw it back to my colleagues, the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, Bobby the Brain Heenan, and you, Tony Schiavone.
Thanks a lot, Gene. And we've had 2 title matches so far. Still 3 more title matches to go, and no change in the guard as of yet.
Yeah, he's still a little disturbed about that situation. No change in the guard is right, but I believe the Road Warriors really sitting right there perched to become World Tag Team Champions.
Road Warriors later on in this telecast will face Lex Luger and Sting, and like we've said all along, it's got to favor the Road Warriors. They have not yet wrestled. And you got to wonder, also, if Sting and Luger are now back as a cohesive unit or not, Brain.
Well, I don't know what's going through their mind. They looked happy when they left together, but there was still something there that tells me they're not getting along. Road Warriors, they're as happy as can be. They just about had the title handed to them on a silver platter. You got Luger and Sting who are fighting. They just took a heck of a beating at the hands of Harlem Heat. Now they're going to have to get in the ring with the Road Warriors. I wouldn't like that job.
Still to come, double cage match. Ric Flair goes for an unprecedented 13th World Heavyweight title. Hulk Hogan with only one eye against the Giant. Let's go. It's time for the U.S. title bout here on Super Brawl.
The following return
We can cut it there, but we got Konnan and One Man Gang here for the U.S. title.
Oh.
And here comes Gang.
Yeah.
I got to do that one year for Halloween.
Mm-hmm. Hey, I was thinking about announcers here, obviously, and I have been asked the question many times. And so for you kids running your wrestling website, you can probably write this down. It'll probably be I don't know. Anyway, I've been asked who has been the best guy I've ever worked with. Okay, the best color guy I've ever worked with was Jesse Ventura. The best announcer I've ever worked with, just me and him side by side, was JR, because I thought JR made me better as an announcer.
But
the most fun I've ever had with working with a team was working with Heenan and Dusty together.
Yeah.
Had a blast. Regardless of how drunk Heenan was at Road Wild, we had a blast doing it. We really did. We had so much fun. And you could see it up there because, and then of course, there's the there's the whole, you can find it on YouTube. I know the whole mafia kick thing there. And the time that Sherry did a splash on Colonel Parker at Battle Bowl and Dusty going crazy. I really had a great time. Boy, man, George was big. I didn't realize how big he was.
Dude, super tall individual. How would you describe the ring entrance garb, that top that Konnan was wearing?
It's looking like some of the Mayans.
I thought he was headed to his quinceanera. I mean, it was.
They what?
Yeah, I thought it was going to his quinceanera.
Quinceanera? Is that a restaurant that Dave Silva frequents?
It does. It is, yes.
How is Dave, by the way?
I don't know. You know, his whole family got the Coco V.
Did they really?
Yeah, but they kicked out.
Yeah.
I saw him twice this year. Once right before the Coco V and once after.
Mm-hmm.
He made an appearance here, but I don't know if he was under the influence of narcotics or some sort of prescribed drug, but he was very docile.
Well, he probably had OD'd on Whataburgers. It's a good chance of that.
Well, that's true. They're on a first name bet. I was in the car with him recently, and he hit Whataburger. And when we came around to the window, they all said, "Hey, Dave, hey, Dave, hey, Dave." I mean, it's like the whole team came and said hello.
Yeah.
I always imagined that that's probably what it was like when Wendy actually went to Wendy's, like they just lined up to kiss the ring and pay the respects. But I've actually seen them do that to Dave Silva, which is a little odd. Oh man, look at this tumble down the steps here.
Wow, they tried to put the brakes on too. George did on that because he saw it coming.
Yeah, because he didn't want to do that.
No, man.
Let me read you what happened here, according to Meltzer. They're going to go 7 minutes and 27 seconds. Konnan retained the U.S. title pinning One Man Gang in 7:27 with a somersault body block off the ropes. Horrible, as in a worst match of the year candidate.
Whoa.
Not a good way to get Konnan over. Boy, is that an understatement. It's not as if they weren't warned in advance. So Konnan is one of the biggest stars in Mexican wrestling. I mean, he's often been described as being the Hulk Hogan in Mexico.
Right.
I mean, he had TVs and television television programs and commercials and movies and what do they call Spanish soap operas? Telenovela or so whatever. He had all that. I'm talking about when he's 21, he's driving a Ferrari. I mean, this is a superstar because he looks unlike anybody else there. You know, he is the bodybuilder version of a pro wrestler, whereas that's not typically what you see in that era anyway. And now here he is one of the biggest stars in Mexico, the U.S. champ here, and he's capable of having good matches. We've seen it with Ric Flair and Eddie Guerrero and others, and great heat in Mexico and with some of the big storylines. But yeah, man, One Man Gang might not be the right opponent for him.
Yeah, you just try to, again, as Booker Man, you try to just throw things off the wall, as the old cliche goes, and until it sticks. So Konnan was one of my favorites, buddy. I mean, I think from all his, from being Konnan, the masked Konnan, when we first saw Konnan, I remember first seeing Konnan at a center stage show when he had a mask on.
Right.
And I thought, wow, this guy is really sensational. He did some great stuff back then. And then the very different versions of him, even to the K-Dog version.
I wish it was over like Rover, dude.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Yeah, that's enough. I love that, man.
We still do it in our group chat. Chris McDonald thinks it's the funniest thing that's ever been said on wrestling, and I can't really argue with him.
Yeah, it is. It's cool.
That's enough.
The only problem that Konnan has had in his life, I think, is that, number one, he does a podcast with the Disco Inferno.
I knew you were going to get to that. That's your favorite thing.
Yeah, so as we know, the Disco Inferno is, and there's been a lot of pieces of shit in wrestling. Believe you me, I've seen them all. But Disco Inferno is at the top.
No, he's not.
Yeah, he's the biggest piece of shit ever in wrestling.
That's not true.
Okay, and then again, they also bring in, at times, Adam DeMoy, which you put Adam DeMoy.
Do that. Yeah.
Yeah, well, you put Adam DeMoy beside of Disco Inferno, and you got to try to just look hard to see which turd is the worst, because they're all like equal.
Which turd is the worst?
Which turd is the worst? That's a new T-shirt, by the way, on Boxing Gimmicks. LoisRules.com. We don't plug that enough. We have a lot of great T-shirts over there.
We do, and we haven't been plugging it a lot because we're about to make a big announcement. But go ahead and plug it a few more times.
Oh, see, how about letting me know these big announcements?
Well, you got to come to the meetings. We have meetings and stuff.
Okay. Well, then you have someone.
That's all good stuff. It's going to be. I see Steve Grissom, WCW Motorsports driver.
You know, Steve Grissom won an event in the WCW car.
How fun is that?
Yeah, and I think that was like one of the. It wasn't the Daytona 500, but it was one of the, the races earlier in the week or like on Saturday. He won one of the races, and in that purple and gold car. So there you go.
He was the 1993 Busch Series champion.
How about that? The Busch Series. It's back when racing was a thing, which it no longer is.
So I wanted to mention the whole Brian Pillman thing is the story.
Okay.
And I guess we should probably just start laying the groundwork now.
Yeah, because the match should come up here pretty soon.
The strange turns of Super Brawl VI on February 11th in St. Petersburg at the Bayfront Center Arena ended with Brian Pillman apparently out of WCW and Elizabeth turning on Randy Savage and costing him the title in his match with Ric Flair. Right. The latter was most definitely the result of a well-booked surprise finish. The former was something else. It was either the most highly calculated and hard to logically explain ruse in the history of recent pro wrestling, or the end of Brian Pillman in WCW. During the week within the company, the majority viewpoint was that the incident between Pillman and Sullivan and the announcing by Eric Bischoff was not a planned angle. Pillman, who had in the last month become almost legendary for either erratic behavior or being in his wrestling character 24 hours a day, or both, had frequently arrived late for his shows. On the Nitro prior to the Clash in Las Vegas, Pillman disappeared, and several in WCW were apparently scared he was going to show up as a surprise on the live WWF show in Stockton, California, about a 1-hour flight away. The next night saw Pillman in a tag match with Arn Anderson against Kevin Sullivan and Hugh Morris have a stinker of a match due to what at least appeared to be a total lack of communication, and had a few seconds of what appeared to be shooting. Many in the company felt Pillman, who stormed out of Lakeland after a backstage argument with Sullivan, was through with the company. However, he showed up late again, and the next day at the Universal studio tapings. The next day, while Bischoff was having a meeting with the wrestlers, Pillman mouthed off, and the two had words, with Bischoff saying that Pillman was lucky to still be employed, and strongly hinted, as he had on TV, that probably wouldn't be employed very much longer. For the rest of the week at the Disney tapings, Pillman was kept apart from all the wrestlers, supposedly because there was so much heat between himself and Sullivan, even dressed in a different trailer. However, the TV show a few days later seemed to spell an angle. The incident aired on TV and was played up like a wrestling angle, albeit a new form of angle aimed at only fans who were at least half smart to aspects of the business. Let's take a listen to Mean Gene here.
Pipe broke. Every time somebody flushes the biff up on an Explorer, we get a little something coming back down here. But that's totally a different story. By the way, fans, tonight on the hotline, it is absolutely red hot. It's rumored that two World Wrestling Federation former champions may be headed to World Championship Wrestling. That's going to be the exclusive story on the hotline tonight, along with all of the great news that is breaking here backstage at Super Brawl VI. Pick up the phone right now and give us a call at 1-900-909-9900. That's 1-900-909-9900. Who are those two former WWF champions? Gentlemen, come on in. Hawk Animal. A little bit later on, Sting and Lex Luger for the WCW titles. Everybody in this building, everybody on television, with the possible exception of the referee, saw what you did, Animal.
Well, Gene, everybody on Monday Night Nitro saw what Luger did to me, too. An eye for an eye in WCW. Now, we didn't have no hassle with Luger, and we ain't got no hassle with Sting. Luger, you brought it upon yourself. And Sting, I don't know what you're thinking, but believing in Luger, you're making a big mistake. We said we would do anything at all costs to get you in the ring. And Harlem Heat, I'm sorry. He's sorry. If you got a problem with it, get in line. Take it up with us later. But Sting, Luger, tonight, the titles, be prepared. Tell him, Hawk. Our deepest, sincerest apologies to Harlem Heat. Not too bad for you, Harlem Heat. Sting and Luger, we're going to deviate your septums. We're going to detach your retinas and a lot of other nasty things. You started it. We're going to end it. You got a lot of problems. Not our problems, your problems. You get in with the LOD, you don't even know what you're doing.
I have some ideas where you might stick a 4-iron to if you're a golfer. Right now, let's get back to the ring.
So we're going to see Taskmaster come out here. Sullivan's interview where he broke a pencil, apparently to signify he wasn't acting as a booker / wrestler in the match, appeared to give away this was a Japanese style angle. Unfortunately, it isn't aimed at a Japanese style audience, which understands the significance of breaking a pencil or shooting, or what's supposed to be shooting in the ring. In addition, when clips of this match were shown, everything was shown intact rather than being edited like something that shouldn't have happened had taken place. That led to the pay-per-view show on February 11th. What people saw was billed as a respect match between Sullivan and Pillman. It was basically an I Quit version of a strap match. Pillman came to the ring with a strap that he supposedly had stolen earlier that day, whipped Sullivan a few times. Sullivan punched him in the face hard and kicked him a few times, and Pillman went to a totally stunned ref and grabbed his mic and said sarcastically, "I respect you, Booker Man," and walked out. Let's track it here.
They are going at it. They are not waiting to get hooked up by a leather strap. Oh my goodness, they got a fight going on here.
Well, I told you it's just going to be Katie Baldo right here. I don't know how they're going to get them strapped up, but they are really going at it. Whoa, baby.
Flying Bryant trying as all he can to whip Kevin Sullivan, who's just hanging on to it.
Kevin Sullivan's chewing his ankle off.
This is a Donnybrook.
Yeah, Donnybrook is right, and he has got that strap, and he is raking him around the eyes. And, oh, man, let me tell you, respect is the name of the game in this one right here at Super Brawl VI.
Ladies and gentlemen, we haven't seen anything like this in a long time. Oh, Sullivan hit him right in the jaw. He hit him right in the jaw and almost knocked him out. And now he kicks him in the solar plexus, and they're not even thinking about a leather strap right now. Jimmy Jet has a wireless microphone. And
Yeah, I don't think this is what Aretha Franklin meant.
You, Booker Man.
oh, he said, "I respect you."
Respect you. And he walked.
And he walked out.
And he walked.
He said, "I respect you," and he walked out.
Wow.
So Kevin Sullivan, the Taskmaster, will win it. But I mean, for about 45 seconds, we had the darndest fight we'd ever seen.
We stop tracking here. Nope, I'll say at this point there was genuine panic backstage. Jimmy Hart came out and said what happened and pulled in Arn Anderson, who was dressed in shorts and tennis shoes, to come into the ring and do a bad representation of a match, complete with almost a strange finish as the previous match. Meaning after 3 minutes and 45 seconds, Ric Flair came out and just told them both to stop, and the match simply ended. Backstage, Pillman and Bischoff got into an argument in front of everyone with swear words, and Pillman sarcastically telling Bischoff something to the effect of, "Sorry about your 12-minute strap match," and then left the building with Chris Benoit. Sullivan came back after his match with Anderson looking for Pillman, who had already left. Pillman then flew home before Nitro the next night in Tampa. While there was no official word of him being fired, Bischoff did vaguely bring up what happened at the onset of Nitro and made a remark about Pillman being history, and now there's only 3 horsemen. Pillman was telling friends all week that he expected to be done with the company because when you have a big problem with the booker, you go to a new territory. Sometime around the time of Pillman's argument with Bischoff in the dressing room after Sullivan's match, Disco Inferno was the only wrestler to openly question things, suddenly saying something to the effect of, "They're working the boys." If it was a work, it was the most elaborate one in recent memory. As few, if any, of the wrestlers knew, the referees had no idea. And notice Jimmy Jet at least seeming to have no clue at all what Pillman was doing the entire minute he was in the ring. the announcers didn't know, and the production people in the back all flipped out and legitimately went into panic mode when they had a 12-minute strap match end in just 59 seconds. Several things were implemented later in the show, like Lex Luger taking forever to get in the ring during his tag match and to kill time because the show would wind up running short. Perhaps the work will be so elaborate that Pillman will be fired as an angle. Either that or he'll simply actually be fired. Clearly, if after all this he isn't fired, it has to be a work because this is too many things in a 2-week period. But if it is a work, they'd know that and they'd fire him anyway to continue the work. So everybody's guessing. Meltzer's guessing. We know now it was indeed a work. They're trying to work the boys, and they did a good job of it, but they worked themselves into a shoot because he eventually talks Bischoff into giving him an actual release. But the weekend after this show, 6 days later, he shows up at the ECW arena, he being Brian Pillman. Meltzer would say it was part of his quest to convince people he's completely lost his mind.
Right.
He showed up at the building wearing a La Parka mask, and he's there to just hide, but he pretended to only be able to speak Japanese backstage. And then he did an angle in the ring where they turned the lights off, and when they came on, Pillman's in the ring, got a huge babyface pop. He's referring to Eric as Eric Jerkoff, and Pillman called the audience smart marks, and then did an obscenity-laced interview that got the audience to turn against him rather than say this is an awesome angle. So kind of a fun deal, you know, that they did a deal where he attacked a fan in the crowd at the ECW show. Of course, it was a plant.
Right.
And then they're going to publicly fire him on Thursday, WCW. And people are still going to claim inside the company, well, he may be fired, but he's still on payroll. And they start talking about it on the hotline. And this became the hottest angle in wrestling. And it led to the loose cannon persona. And he's really going to be in a good spot because he's going to play both sides against the middle in an effort to convince the world it's real. He gets a release from WCW, faxes it to the WWF, and now there's a bidding war that takes a little bit of a hiccup when he flips his Humvee and destroys his ankle, but Vince McMahon signs him anyway.
Yeah.
What do you remember about all this since you've had a healthy dose of Prevagen this morning?
Okay. So I remember not knowing what was going on, obviously. I remember hearing him say, I respect you, Booker Man. And I was not going to repeat that, Booker Man. You know, I said, he said he respected you.
Yeah.
I didn't understand why Arn was going out, but because of the way I've always been, even to the Hulk Hogan, Vince Russo thing, I believed it was a work. I believe they were. I really believed, and I knew I was right, that they were trying to work the boys. In other words, work everybody. But I also remember, what I remember about this match is that all of a sudden I'm thinking, you know, we're into a shoot here. We're into a work shoot. And the reason it is because when he came into the ring with a strap, Sullivan did not let go of the ankle, did not let go of the leg.
Yeah, it was a shoot fight.
That's right. In other words, he was going to absorb whatever smacking or whether the leather strap could be, just so he could get his shot in. And then when he hit him, he cracked his fucking jaw. So, yeah, it was a shoot fight, and here's Ric Flair ending the match.
Let's take a listen to what you're saying on commentary here.
All right, there's a microphone in the ring.
Come on, man! It's you! Double A! The Giant, the Nature Boy! Come on! You proved nothing! Let's get at hand what's going on! And get ready to kick Savage and Hogan's butt! Come on! Stop all this!
All right, how about that?
Devil!
That's smart thinking.
Hey,
Nothing
if I want to
good can
talk
come
to
of this.
you, I'll take your wife home, make a woman out of her.
Well, I'll tell you what, there's a lot of things been
on.
said, but one thing for sure
Come on, Devil.
is he laid it on the line, and that's true.
Come on, man. Hey, united we stand.
Wow, get out.
Divided we fall. Hogan, it didn't work. Savage, it didn't work. Tonight, right here.
He's gone.
Yeah, you're not kidding. Ric Flair's gone.
He's gone.
Yeah, he's
Tonight,
gone.
Yeah.
right here. we destroy Hulkamania. Savage, I'm taking the belt and Liz now. Come on, Double A. Come on, brother.
Well, Ric Flair doing a first, being a mediator.
Giant. We're together. We're a team. The Giant. Come on.
I'll tell you something, Sullivan. To get what I want, and that's Hogan and Savage, I get in the bed with the devil himself.
He just did, my friends. He just did. Night, night.
Hogan, where is it?
The chant of Hogan
Yes.
starts
Where
to
is
swell
it?
here. And right now, we're going to go back. The argument
Where is
continues a
it?
little bit out here. We go back to locker room area and Mean Gene
Keep your
Okerlund.
mouth
It's
shut,
wild
Punk.
out here, Gene.
I would say more of a veritable zoo-like atmosphere out there, something like the Nut House. Jimmy Hart, tonight your man, the Giant, is going to go inside that steel cage to meet none other than Hulk Hogan, a man who is very determined to prove a point tonight.
Hulkster, I'm going to make it very simple and clear for you, baby. You got one eye, and time is ticking away on you, man, before you step in the steel cage with a 7'4" giant. Hulkamania is finished forever, baby.
Anybody ever tell you, Hart, that you get on their nerves?
Big deal, Mean Gene.
Giant, Hulk Hogan, and yourself, you are going to be facing truly an immortal individual tonight.
Immortal, today is going to be a day of reckoning. Hogan, I have been in the dungeon of doom. I have looked into the souls of men, the darkest, deepest reaches of the soul where the maggots crawl. And Hogan, all that is bad, all that is evil is inside of me. It's building like a mountainous volcano that's gonna erupt right here, the Bayfront Arena, all over you, Hulk Hogan. In that cage, that door's gonna shut. The last thing that's gonna go through your mind is my fist. Hogan, you can't run. You can't hide. The only thing you can do is understand and the will to know Hulkamania is through forever.
Giant, this man is, I'll tell you what, we've got a lot of loose cannons running around here, but this man is totally beside himself. Remember, Jimmy Hart, they're going to be inside a cage. You're not going to be able to get in.
Big deal, baby. Nobody has to get in. Nobody gets in. Nobody gets out. Hulkster, no more watching those B-grade flicks that you have out. No more Thunder in Paradise. And no more seeing your face on WCW.
That two-faced little... I can't believe it. Jimmy Hart, of course, at one time the manager for Hulk Hogan. Now it's a totally different story. Hey,
Bring up the name
let's
Hulk
get back
Hogan,
to the
Jimmy.
ring. I didn't mean to say anything.
That'll do it for the tracking. But my goodness, how would you describe those promos from Jimmy Hart and the Giant in hindsight?
In hindsight, Jimmy and Jimmy Hart was, excuse me, being Jimmy Hart, but the Giant was some sort of form of the Ultimate Warrior there.
Dude, just hooting and hollering, so 80s, so over the top.
Right. So here come the Warriors. We're going to see Luger and Sting again. So I don't think when they gave Kevin the microphone there, and Rick jerked it from Kevin immediately, thinking that we've heard enough of this. Who knows what Kevin's going to say? And then Kevin, as he's walking out, mouthed to Arn, "What's wrong with him?" And I don't think he was talking about Flair. I think he was talking about Pillman. And looking back at it, it's pretty fucking cool, actually.
It was a cool angle.
And the fact is, Kevin's Kevin was an old shooter, right?
Yeah.
And once he grabbed that leg, I knew then when I was calling the match, and I could see it again, that once he grabbed the leg and was holding on, once he got his shot, the shit was going to go down. But because I can tell you this, regardless of how great an athlete you are, and Brian Pillman was a great athlete, Lex Luger was a great athlete, you get in there with an old school shooter, you're fucked. And that's what Kevin was.
Is it true
What?
that you're jealous of Lex Luger's hairstyle here?
Somewhat. More of his More of his traps than anything else.
What kind of traps? He have booby traps set up, or
No, the
bear traps, or
the trapezius muscles.
oh,
Because if you have trapezius muscles, you know what? You also have a lot of confidence in your ability in the
I
ring.
was just thinking you have got to work in trapezius on an upcoming AEW program.
Right. Hit him in the trapezius, and it gave him a lot of confidence.
I like where you move your lower jaw when you do that.
Get in the ring, you eggplant. Let's go.
Well, Tony, I'm kind of curious what you're going to think of this match, because Meltzer, not so big on it.
Okay.
13 minutes, 56 seconds, gives it -1 star. He says Luger stalled forever in getting in the ring, acting like he didn't want the match. The Warriors, the guys of wanting the titles, wrestled scientifically, which, needless to say, is not their forte. Actually, I can't figure out exactly what is their forte. Since they're legends of the 80s, the crowd is really into them. When they come out, their matches stink. All kinds of missed moves, capped off with a horrible finish. Sting's clearly the best worker in here, but once upon a time, man, I was convinced that Road Warrior Hawk could have had one hell of a singles run, dude.
Is that Meltzer saying this or you?
Me talking to Tony.
Oh yeah, me too. Me too, but he still wasn't what he was without Joe, you know. But yeah, I agree. And they gave him they gave him that world title shot, I believe, at in the Crockett era at Bunkhouse Stampede, I believe.
So how freaking cold was Cleveland this past week?
Oh man, to the bone. To the bone. I mean, first of all, you're in the north. Next, you're up against a lake. Come on. But great sports town. Even though they changed the name of their baseball team. Great sports town.
I mean, in hindsight, do you really care if they changed the name of that team? Like, no, I don't care.
I don't care. I don't care. I never was a fan of theirs anyway. But I'm just
saying, hey, if it offends anybody, you know, if somebody feels a certain type of way about it and we don't care about the name anyway, then, you know, whatever.
Yeah. Did it really offend people? Look, sports teams are not going to do this unless it offends sponsors. That simple.
Well, here's my thing, and I'm a Braves fan. We
next.
didn't know any better. Okay.
They're next. You know they're next, don't you?
Probably. But here's what I'm saying. Back then, when I was a kid as a baseball fan, we all did the chant.
Mm-hmm.
And I could see how somebody would be like, hey, wait a minute now.
Really?
That was my great grandfather, and you're just kind of mocking that. I could see that.
Okay. The chant, maybe it's one thing. But anyway, Braves fans, they're coming for you next.
And who is they?
The politically correct police.
You don't like them? You don't like politically correct people?
No, I didn't say that. I'm just saying they're coming for Braves next.
I mean, but you're politically correct.
And then they're going to come for the Florida Gators because they don't want it to offend a Gator.
Now you're just being a fucking asshole. But, you know, we were supposed to be doing Tony Reed's rap, and you went all PC on us.
Yeah, I'm not doing that shit.
What if we just did? This is a great suggestion from Twitter. And don't just say no immediately. I know how you are.
Okay.
What if we did Tony Reed's rap, but you only did P and News raps?
No.
Well, then there's no bad language.
No.
You just don't like to have fun.
No, I just don't think I don't think it's entertaining. I don't think I'm that good at it. I think that
You don't know what's entertaining. You were on the shows like this. We're gonna get you back. You know what? Let's get on Amazon. Let me see.
What?
I'm getting on Amazon right now.
For what? What? You go buy me something?
Bubble Boy outfit. All right, got it.
Okay.
I'm getting a bubble so you and Lois can just have one together.
Oh.
We could film that actually. It'd be like elderly American gladiators. Marietta Satiators. That's what it'll be instead of American Gladiators.
Sadiators.
Gladiators.
Make fun. Yeah, there you go. There you go. You make fun of our age. You know what you're into now? You're into ageism.
Wait, what are you talking about? You're the one who
yeah.
started saying you're old, not me.
Not sexism. You're into ageism.
That's not true at all. My wife is 7 years older than me.
Wow. Oh, Lord, that was bad.
How about that? Normally, fellas like myself, they'd be trying to date youngins, not me. I like somebody I can have a conversation with, somebody who can be my partner, somebody who can be a responsible adult.
Yeah, I know. It doesn't seem much now, but Lois is 6 years older than me, and right now it's a lot.
Well, here's the thing. When that happens, I'll just get me another one, Tony. When my car starts acting up, that's what I do. I get me another one.
Trade it in, right?
Yeah, no big deal. Get a newer model, you say.
Sometimes you can't do a trade-in when the model that you have has a lot of miles on it.
No, you can still trade it in. Or as Easy E taught us, you can throw it in the gutter and go buy another. You gonna throw Lois in the gutter? Is that what you're throwing?
No.
We like Lois. Lois is a big part of our program. I just wish she was an even bigger part.
Yeah, well, that's her.
What?
She's not going to be a bigger part of this program.
You don't ask. You tell. See, men do what they want. Boys do what they can.
Okay. You want me to ask Lois if she'll be a bigger part of this program?
No. I want you to tell her.
Okay.
She's a bigger part of the program.
And when I tell her that she's a bigger part of this program, what does that entail?
You want me to pretend like I'm you?
Yeah.
Do a little role play here, like it's a sales training call?
Yeah, please go ahead.
All right.
This is going to be good.
Yo, it's Tony Schiavone, bitch. And I was just talking to, that cracker over in Alabama, and he says, your ass is on the show next week. So, bitch, don't be back talking. Get out your goddamn bubble next week, and you're going to have to get your hair did. And I'm going to have Chris over here. He's going to take you to get them rollers out your hair. And then you have to put down Facebook. You got to start swallowing spit and talking that shit on WHW. That's what I thought. That's kind of how I think he was. I assume he talked to her.
Okay, well, that's pretty cool.
And if you ain't, I'm gonna take you to Bojangles later, and you can't get no drink. You know what that means? Bojangles, no drink.
Nothing to be able to slide those biscuits down with, right?
Dude, that Bojangles thing, I still get tagged in. People love that.
Really?
I had a guy in my office. I lost one of my very best friends a couple of years ago to a car wreck, and just a bad situation. But he left behind 2 very young adult kids, and so they'll stop by the office and just catch up with me. I'm like their Uncle Conrad. I've been around, they've been in my life for, I don't know, like 14, 15 years, something like that. So, the kid comes by one day and he's like, I just got off work and I'm going to go get some lunch now. I think I'm going to get some chicken. And you've been to my office before. I'm directly across from KFC, which, as you know, I consider to just be, diarrhea through the drive-through. Like if you want to have an upset stomach, or you think, man, I'm probably not fit to live, then you eat whatever they're selling at KFC. Okay. And so I'm thinking he's going across the street, and I point and I say, bro, you're going to get diarrhea for lunch? And he says, no, I wanted good chicken. So I'm going to go to Popeyes or Bojangles. And I did a double take. I got my computer set up this way, and I'm like, wait a minute, did you say Bojangles? And he thinks Bojangles is up there with Popeyes. So maybe I'm wrong. I've been riding through there for lunch and eating or breakfast. And I tried that biscuit one time, and boy, that was a mistake. But I don't know that I've ever just ordered regular chicken from Bojangles. Where are you at on Bojangles chicken?
Love Bojangles chicken.
Really?
Yeah. They got a spice in it.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's a spicy chicken that I really, really enjoy. I love all their food, especially their country ham biscuits, but I can't eat those because my effort of losing weight has been, God, Luger's Luger's lariats were horrible. But anyway, there you go. My effort at losing weight has been I've been stuck at this one weight for like months. And I'll go up a pound, go down a pound. Go up 2 pounds, down 2 pounds. Go up a pound, down a pound. Just so I can't eat those country ham biscuits, which I love from Bojangles, by the way. I'm sure Jay-Z Flair, our buddy Justin Zimmerman, who blows my mind when I know that he's trusted with a automatic weapon. Our buddy Justin Zimmerman loves Bojangles. He's sponsored by Bojangles.
He's not sponsored by Bojangles.
He's not?
No.
You mean he wears those Bojangles suits and is the Bojangles champion and has the Bojangles belt just on his own accord?
Yeah.
They don't pay him any money for that?
No.
They're getting all that free stuff from that knucklehead?
Yeah.
Wow.
Now, I think eventually they did send him some suits, but, his first set, that was all just on him. But he willed himself into a couple of suits. I think he's got a custom iPhone with a piece of chicken on it.
You would think that he could go through the drive-thru in the mornings and get a chicken biscuit and a coffee for free every time.
Every day until he died.
Mm-hmm.
But no. Which is why I have no problem making fun of Bojangles here on the program.
Wow.
Because I know that I'm not potentially alienating a sponsor.
Right.
If they won't pay Jay-Z, there's no way they're going to pay me and you.
Right. Exactly.
Because, you and I will shield some stuff. I mean, on this very program, we shield some dick pills, some hair loss pills. Hell, we're probably going to try to sell you life insurance here in a minute. You know what I mean?
Well, guess what? Tony Schiavone, shilling since 1983.
Oh, you know what? That should be something we market, shilling and chilling.
Yeah. Absolutely. They're putting some time into this match here, these kids.
Dude, all we got left is 3 long-ass matches. And let me just say in a loud and clear voice now, I need every Road Warrior match to be 5 minutes or less. But when they're out of here, Flair and Savage get nearly 19 minutes, and then Hogan and Giant get 15 minutes. And Hogan and Giant, that should have been 7. Seriously, let's get it over with. Let's make that a TV match. What are we doing?
No, look, you can't go 7 minutes in a cage. You've got to put some time in a cage match.
Look at Sting off the top with the big splash. Oh. Think about how long ago this was. And he just did that on TV a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Off the stage, through a table.
And he did that on TV since the time this show happened and the time he went off the stage on Dynamite. He's had a very severe neck injury, right? So, yeah, it was that one blew me away. But again, it's Tony is so good to people backstage that you want to put in your best effort every time.
Hey, so what'd you think of Eric Bischoff and Jeff Jarrett being on Fox a couple of weeks ago? How cool was that?
Didn't see it.
You heard about it, though?
Did not hear about it.
Okay, well, Jeff Jarrett and Eric Bischoff were on a program that the World Wrestling Entertainment Organization airs on Friday night. It's not on cable like what you have.
Yeah.
It's on broadcast. It's
broadcast on TV. Yeah, I know. And what that means is that all the people who have antennas can get it.
Yes.
If in fact the station near them is a Fox affiliate. If not, they'll have to watch CBS, NBC, or ABC. Go ahead.
Thanks for breaking down how television works. We really appreciate that.
Right.
So Jeff was on it and Eric was on it. How about that?
They were on SmackDown?
They were on Fox, yeah, on SmackDown. It was from Nashville, Tennessee.
That's tremendous. What did they do? They do a run-in?
No, it was vignettes in the back. They had your favorite guitarist and mine, Mr. Rick Boogs.
Yeah.
And Shinsuke Nakamura having a conversation with Double J Jeff Jarrett. And then Adam Pearce had a conversation with Eric Bischoff.
Oh, so they're doing interviews now, backstage.
Yeah, they were, I guess in your business, they would refer to it as a vignette.
Okay.
And then, of course, we all had a blast in St. Louis this past weekend. Hey, hypothetically,
yeah,
before we actually embarked on the adventure to St. Louis, all of us together on that road trip,
Yeah.
What time were you thinking you were going to be ready to leave before we actually decided on what we did? And of course, it's all well in the rearview mirror now.
Uh-huh.
But hypothetically, what time were you thinking you were going to be here in Huntsville, hitch a ride with Silva, Cassio, and myself?
Well, I was thinking that because I had a AEW Unrestricted podcast to do on Friday, that I was thinking that maybe I should not go with you guys and fly up on Friday after I did that.
Mm. That's okay. That's actually a solid plan. And I don't know why I was thinking you were in the car with us, because that event has clearly already happened.
Yeah. Well, when you're driving, you're pretty focused, laser
I am.
focused.
I'm looking at the lines,
Yeah,
I'm not like Dave Silva.
You only glance in the rearview mirror and the side view mirrors when you need to. You never turn your head, which is good. That's why I like riding with you. So, but I thought it would be best for me to fly up there on a Friday. But then again, with flights the way they are, you just never know. They're expensive too.
Hey, so I wanted to mention, I was riding around the other day around the lake here, not too far from my house, and Cassio was riding shotgun with me. We went to look at this one piece of property, and there was a guy in like a work truck hiding. You don't think that's interesting?
A guy in a work truck.
We happened to cross, it's this property that's vacant that we were going to go take a look at and check out, and looking to do some more investing here in 2022. And I had something I wanted to show him, and I said, "Hey, since we're over this way, let me show you this one. This is maybe one of the most unique properties I've ever seen." And as I go to turn around, I see that this is not just an empty, abandoned work truck, or maybe someone inside the property or what have you. There's someone in it. And when they saw us, they started trying to like slink down in their seat and try to disappear. They tried to hide.
Wow.
And it made me wonder, why would you be hiding inside of a work truck? Tony Schiavone, I throw to you. What's your theory?
Why would you be hiding in a work truck?
Well, Cassio had a theory and I had a different one.
Okay, so where was this work truck?
Parked behind a vacant property,
Okay.
lakeside.
Near your home.
Same town, but across the water.
Okay, maybe it was one of those wrestling websites trying to spy on you. To see
No, they would have. I did not belong there. This was not my property.
Okay, maybe he was getting a blowjob.
See, now that what Cassio thought.
Right.
I thought maybe the guy was hiding because he was doing drugs.
Okay.
No, Cassio thought drugs. I thought BOTCH. I don't know, but
Okay.
it came down to BOTCH or drugs.
All right.
And then we started to joke because Cassio goes, "Well, it can't be that one, Conrad." And I said, "Why's that?" And he said, "Because the driver ducked." And I said, "Well, the driver could have been the one doing it. We don't know." And that got all over Cassio, because I think whenever someone thinks about that act being performed, they think of the passenger being the one
performing
with their work boots on, if you will.
Right.
But I freestyled, could have been the driver because they were in park.
Yeah.
Would it be possible, do you think, hypothetically, if you were driving or if Lois was driving, for her to also, could she have done that?
No, she wouldn't have done that if she'd been the passenger. No, that wouldn't have happened. That wouldn't have,
happens while you're driving. That's real talent.
No, that's all right. Here we go. Thank
Flair's
God.
probably done it. Let's take a listen.
What's going on? Ric Flair, that match was thrown out, but woman, the match involving this man, the Nature Boy, against the Macho Man in a cage, will not be thrown out.
Mr. Okerlund, what woman wants, woman gets.
Nature Boy.
Don't you get it? Hogan's master plot has failed again. A little while ago, a very feeble attempt was made at turning the taskmaster against Arn Anderson. Wrong. It didn't work, Hogan. No chemistry. Now, the cage goes down. The building gets dark. Woman and Nature Boy walk side by side. Walk into the cage. I hit the music. Here comes Randy Savage. Elizabeth under his arm. And you know what he knows? In the back of his mind, he's talking out of the side of his mouth. He's saying, Liz, oh, this ain't right. I got a face flare. And tonight, I'm going to bleed. I'm going to sweat. And Flair might take you home. Not good odds. Savage, count on it. Tonight, blood, sweat, tears, and a world title change. Right, woman?
Yes, that's right, Nate.
Woman. Woman. Oh, woman. Woo!
If you should win, do I dare ask, Mr. Flair, will there be a little ride on Space Mountain?
Well, think about it. I'll have woman on my left and Liz on my right. But I won't tell anybody who I'll be with tonight. Woo!
Thank you, the Nature Boy Ric Flair. Woman, I thank you very much. Lovely indeed. Gentlemen, let's get back to you.
Classic.
We can cut the tracking there, but my goodness.
Classic.
He had to have that line planned because it rhymed with right and tonight. But how about Mean Gene knowing to, I don't know, hit the high points. Make sure you put over Space Mountain.
Yeah, I think Gene was probably a wingman here.
Nate, let's go have a few clear ones.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Yeah, doctor.
You know, Conrad, I got a new bean. Said I shouldn't be drinking on the new bean, but what the hell do they know? Let's tip a few cold ones here, pal.
Gene really, in the time, I don't know how old he was there. I guess we can look and see how he was in his 80s when he passed away. But Gene aged quickly after we went off the air.
Well, needing a kidney transplant will do it.
Yeah, listen, I think he already had a kidney transplant by this time. Did he have another one?
I don't know, bud. He was your friend. I would think he would keep up with him. I'm just a fat kid from Alabama doing morning.
I'm not a good friend.
No, I'm aware of that.
Okay. I wish I was. I wish I was in my makeup to be a better friend. But I've always been a loner. What the hell is this?
It's a commercial.
For what?
The
next pay-per-view. Got it.
Let's track it.
It's unsanctioned, unauthorized, and unbelievable. WCW Uncensored, Sunday, March 24th, live only on pay-per-view. Call your cable operator to order now.
Oh yeah, Mean Gene had. Dude, oh well, let's listen to Liz. A rare wolf.
Ladies, present company included Miss Elizabeth and some haywire individuals. But considering what's at stake tonight here at Super Brawl, it should be a most interesting evening, Elizabeth.
Oh, I can't.
Stop the music. The key word here. The bottom line is mega powers, yeah. Hulk Hogan, Elizabeth, Lady Luck, yeah. And the Macho Man, Randy Savage, together once again. And we are the mega powers. Nature Boy Ric Flair, you have no idea what's going to happen in that steel cage right now. But I do, yeah. Because expect the unexpected. Because I think it's going to be complete mental insanity. I'm going to bring it to another level. Don't ask me how. Don't ask me why. Because of the fact that family is involved. We have united the forces, and it's infinity and beyond.
You know, though, Randy Savage, Hulk Hogan's got his own set of problems.
Divided we conquer. Yeah, divide and conquer. The mega powers. We are cool. And Elizabeth bonded the forces. Yeah, we were bonded before, but we are really tight now. Am I right, Elizabeth?
Right about that.
We're on our way to the ring right now. I can't talk to you anymore. You do your thing, and I'll do mine. What it is what it is, and I'm the WCW World Heavyweight Champion, and I'm going to beat up the Nature Boy right now. Come on, Elizabeth.
I'm telling you what, gentlemen, these two men, I've just talked to them here the last 5 minutes, the Nature Boy Ric Flair and the Macho Man Randy Savage, are walking that fine racer's edge. These two guys are absolutely, as Dusty Rhodes and Bobby Heenan said, they are pumped sky high. Get ready for virtually anything. Perhaps anything will happen in the ring inside a steel cage. I'd like to go back to you, throw it back to you, Tony, Bobby, and Dusty, for your assessment. These are very unusual and very special circumstances.
Well, Gene, I would agree. You know, he says he's not talking about.
Let's talk
title
about
match.
Gene
He
here
said,
for a minute. You mentioned a minute ago that he had a new bean. He got the first bean in '95,
Right.
and he got the second bean from his wife, and that bean came in '04. So he got two new beans inside of 10 years, and a lot of that I'm sure is, well, he had a fondness for alcohol.
Yep. Smoked a lot too.
Led to, yes, and both of those led to some complications.
Right.
And I know these days, the rumor in innuendo is you've been getting fucked up on Boone's Farm pretty regular. What's your favorite flavor of Boone's Farm?
I like Strawberry Hill.
Yep. I mean, you even have a song that sometimes you hum or sing about that one. Do you know it?
Yeah.
Could you go ahead and give us a little bit?
Strawberry Hill, Strawberry Hill. I like to take a swill, a Strawberry Hill. Used to love the apple back when I was a kid.
You're just going to rip off Blueberry Hill from Fats Domino.
Oh, you three want me to do? Okay.
Well, I just assumed. Do you know that one?
Are we able to play this? Is Steve Kaufman going to go crazy?
We're not playing them very much.
I found my thrill drinking Strawberry Hill.
See, that was fun. Let's take a listen to this asshole who made more than anybody but Hulk.
a double cage rumble here at the WCW Super Brawl VI.
We better
now for the
edit
first
out
of
this.
two
We're allowed to
times
use his.
tonight.
Yeah, what the fucking.
Ladies and gentlemen.
All right, lay out, cut it out. Jesus Christ, Tony. You know what? You're no fucking fun. So with that in mind, I'm going to let you just, or I have confidence to think that you can take it from here for a minute.
Ready to stumble. Where are you going? What? Did he have to pee? Is that what? You ought to pee before the show, okay? You never have me see me at Dynamite go pee in the middle of a show. Okay? Gee whiz. And now the bar's in front of my face and son of a bitch. Anyway, going to go pee. Bug? Hey, Bug? My dog has a bladder about yay big, and he doesn't have to go pee during the show, do you, Bug? Huh? Anyway, the Nature Boy Ric Flair, love the purple robe, love that woman was color coordinated with him. And obviously, this is going to be how can it not be a great match? Two of the great workers ever. But I got to thinking that I wonder if they could use superpowers. That was a term that we used by the WWF. But so anyway, here we go for this matchup at the Old Bayfront Center in St. Petersburg. We certainly appreciate you being with us here on What Happened When, and we'll let you know that we got some great things coming up the remainder of this year. I know we just started, and we're going to go back at times and take a look at the Crockett's 1987, but right now we are taking a look at some of the great times we had at Super Brawl. Are you back yet?
What?
Why would you go? Why don't you pee before the show starts?
Buddy, you're the one who's saying, oh, they're going to make us edit this. They're going to make us edit that. Well, since you're throwing out all these goddamn edits, edit me going to piss.
Man, I was talking to my dog here who's got a bladder yay big, and he can hold it during the show. Why can't you?
Well, here's what's happening here. I chugged 2 liters of water.
Oh.
One before the show and then one during the show. So by the time, we're 3 hours into this and I've had to sit through 19 Lex Luger matches, I got to piss, man.
Well, just to let you know that I chug a lot of water during the day at a Dynamite, and I never stop to piss.
Yeah, you have a boss. You're on live TV.
Mm-hmm.
That's just recorded. I mean, when the wrestlers in the ring on a taped Dynamite fuck up, guess what they do?
Yeah.
they do it again and they
Yeah.
edit it out.
And they shouldn't.
Yeah,
I'm
but
re-
I'm of
really-
that generation.
I'm really against that. I've often been against that. I don't think you learn that way. I think you learn by working through your mistakes.
I think I cut 9 fucking podcasts a week, and if I get up to
Really?
one of them, that ain't that bad.
Well, did anyone force you to cut those podcasts? No.
No, you know what? I should have shut it off after one. Just something to wrestle and tell everybody else to go fuck off.
Yeah. Who was number 2?
Bruce. Number 1 was Richard.
No. Yeah, number 1 was Richard.
Richard recruited me into it.
Right. And
He
then I was
recruited me to marry his daughter. He's really batting 1,000 with me.
Yeah, and then I was third on the list there.
Yeah, you are a turd.
Third. That's
Third.
third.
Sorry.
Yeah. Put an H in there.
Sorry. You know, I used to have a loan officer who worked for me in our Nashville office, and he was from Ireland.
Yeah, okay.
And he would take realtors golfing.
Okay.
Because, you know, a lot of that's something that's common. You know, mortgage guys and realtor guys go play golf together.
Yeah, gotcha.
So he comes back to the office and he says, "So anyway, on the third hole," and I about spit my Hattie B's. I was laughing so hard about what happened on the third hole. So fun.
What's the star count for this match? Has potential to be great with these
Meltzer
two.
would also say that, by the way, Flair here, who's about to be 47. Oh, let's track this.
I gotta hurt him real bad. Send him home in a basket, baby. I'm gonna give you one last chance. Walk over here and kiss a real man, baby.
He's talking to Elizabeth.
Yeah. Well, that's more important things at hand here. He needs to get in that ring and get it on.
Elizabeth.
To the winners go the spoil, right?
She is a lady. Make no mistake about it.
Does that mean no?
Yeah, that means no.
Elizabeth, who guided them.
No.
Oh, that's a no. Who guided the Mega Powers again.
Boy, there ain't a blemish on her face.
She looks good.
Except all that thick red lipstick, she looks like Ronald McDonald.
Oh, would you stop?
Okay, we can cut it there. So the write-up from Meltzer about this one, as he's saying, Flair, just shy of his 47th birthday, is the hottest heel in wrestling, which isn't maybe the compliment it should be. Flair KO'd Randy Eller early for reasons that were never clear. Savage used a figure 4 for more than a minute. Flair got the ropes, but since it's a cage match, the ref couldn't break it. Savage eventually released the hold, and in un-Flair-like fashion, he didn't sell the leg at all, despite being in a crippling hold for so long. Savage came off the top of the cage, and Flair punched him in the stomach. Flair whipped Savage into the cage a few times and used the figure 4. Savage got out and sent Flair into the cage several times. Flair juiced, although it was light juice, and they kept wide camera shots, but they did promise it. Savage pulled Flair's trunks down and crotched him, got a near fall, and the bell actually mistakenly rang. Flair came back with a low blow, and Flair tried to climb out, but Savage pulled his trunks down again, which got old the second time. Woman attempted to throw powder in Savage's eyes, but the toss missed. Elizabeth then gave Flair her high heel, and Flair used it on Savage for the pin, 3.5 stars. So this is the spotlight of the show. Elizabeth is shockingly turning on Randy Savage here, and that's going to allow him to win the world title, or him being Ric Flair.
Yeah.
And the next night on Nitro, Elizabeth is going to attempt to go all the way heel, saying how she's already taken half the money, half the property, and now she took Savage's prized possession, the belt. So a heel turn for Miss Elizabeth, who, boy, a decade prior to this was the most universally beloved woman in all of wrestling, and now she's turning heel because, well, that's just what women do.
Well, she is I'm just noticing her when Flair was talking. She's just stunningly gorgeous. And behind the scenes, a wonderful person. I was kind of perplexed as to why Rick was stalling outside with using the microphone. That's unlike him. You know, to stall. I mean, they wait a lot of wasted a lot of minutes before they got in the ring.
Yeah.
And maybe it's because Rick thought that because Sully went so short that they should try to buy back some of the time by, talking on the outside and doing all that. That could have been it. I don't know. But this was so unlike Ric Flair to do something like this. Well, unless now, I shouldn't say that because I remember when he had that program with the JYD that he would stall a lot before he would get in the ring. Because he knew the match would not be that good. But, I mean, we're talking Randy Savage, who...
Well, he's stalling here because we lost 12 minutes from Brian Pillman.
That's what I just said.
No, but I'm just saying, that's what it is.
Yeah. Love Randy Savage's... He really put a lot of time and effort and thought process into his ring attire.
Yeah, of course he did.
Yeah, what's all the shades and the stuff about?
What do you mean? Nobody's wearing shades.
You got, okay, if you're watching us on video, you just put a hoodie on and you got your shades on.
Yep.
Okay.
I don't want anybody to see me podcasting with you.
Duck down in the truck.
Well, listen, you never promote any of our stuff, so I just assumed
I promote your stuff all the time.
I assumed you had done some crimes or something and you were in witness protection. So whatever the crimes you've done, I don't want to get implicated for.
I've done no. We've had a ref bump already.
Yeah. Remember that was the thing he talked about for no reason.
Yeah.
Now I'll tell you this, our producer here, Diaz, when Flair's drawers drop the first time, we need to track it because I want to hear that bell ring mistakenly. And I'm sure Dusty has a fun line about Flair's vertical smile.
All right.
So you don't like the hoodie? I mean, you wear hoodies every time we record.
Yeah, that's because the Bat Cave is above the garage and it's kind of cold here.
Well, my studio is right by my garage.
Yeah. Well, you live in a mansion. So
what does that have to do with anything?
That means you got plenty of heat in every room.
Just because my studio has heated floors doesn't mean
heated floors. Jesus Christ, the life.
Dude, the new lake house you're going to like. All the bathrooms have washlets on the toilet and all the floors are heated in the bathrooms.
Is it done yet?
No.
Well, you know what? It's like waiting on butts and seats to get off the ship in LA so you can have it at home.
It's like diet. It's like Mellow Yellow Zero. It's Cocoa V. A lot of our supplies and materials that have been paid for are just hanging around.
Yeah, of course.
And then, dude, it's been crazy here in Alabama. Like, Megan does medical research. She has a medical research company over there near the lake house. And, they partner with, and a lot of the doctors she works with have a clinic right next door, like same parking lot. And, it feels like they have a new COVID record every couple of days.
Oh.
Of course, now we have the vaccine. Thank goodness for that, but Lord have mercy. A lot of folks getting sick.
Yeah. And the good news is not as many are dying as they used to. That's when this first started. That's the good news about all this.
Yeah, I think sometimes people, and I'm not trying to have a political conversation, but I know sometimes people turn the vaccine into a political conversation. And the purpose of the vaccine, is the way I understood it, was, hey, less people will die. Doesn't mean you won't still get it, but in theory, it won't be so bad that you die.
Right.
Or at least fewer people. And roll tide on that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's talk about more fun stuff, though. Savage, if you had to so you see what Randy Savage is wearing here, the brightly colored neon pants with, I don't know if you'd call it fringe or what, but it's very loud. And then meanwhile, Flair's walking around in purple shit. If you had to wear one of these to go grocery shopping, to go down to the Kroger, what would you rather dress like? Would you rather wear what Savage is wearing or what Flair's wearing? And you can include their jackets and hats and robes and all that. You're going to have to walk around in one of these.
Yeah. I think because of the way the hat and sunglasses are, I think that would be cool because, well, first of all, you would get attention in either.
Sure.
But I think if you wore the Savage costume, people would look at you and think, wow, that's really cool. That guy's really bizarre. That guy's different. And if you wore the Flair robe, people would think, oh, that guy's a drunk. Just forgot to get dressed this morning. Just threw on a robe to get here and get some milk. So he's hungover.
Is it what you normally go for when you're hungover? Milk?
No, I go for ice cream, and I go for bananas, and I go for protein bars. Would you like to know my entire shopping list for the day?
I'm just looking for you to find something to entertain us. My back is hurting from carrying this show for so fucking long. So,
well, you're trying to think that I've said nothing good in this show today? Is that what you say?
what do you think your best contribution was?
Well, I'd have to go back and listen. I don't know. Contribution.
It was trapezoid.
Trapezoid.
That was the answer.
Okay, trapezoid. Who is this referee? I don't even remember this guy, to be honest with you.
Eller.
Randy Eller?
Yep.
God, I remember Jimmy Jett. I remember all the referees. I don't remember. Wow. It's amazing how referees, back then were, I don't know if a wrestler recommended the referee that this is the referee we want. I don't know how it works, to be honest with you. I don't know how it works today. I do know that that we see, wow, for their age, these two guys are really doing a lot of stuff. So,
have you had a chance to catch the DDP Jake the Snake Roberts podcast yet?
No.
I highly recommend you check it out. Comeback Studios helps us with a lot of the video.
Sure.
So it is really entertaining, not just as an audio podcast, which is great. And you can listen to it anywhere you enjoy podcasts. But you can see the video over at adfreeshows.com. Oh, look, my goodness, he's on top of the cage. Let's track this.
Look how he hooked.
Walking amongst the Giants. Oh, he caught one. Flair waiting on him.
Flair let him climb to the top.
We can feel the tracking now, but my goodness, man, jumping off the top of the cage like that can't be good for your knees. Goodness gracious.
Not at all. And the way he got up there, he just he leapt to get up there.
Anyway, the audio is fantastic. It's called DDP Snake Pit. Anywhere you enjoy podcasts, but the video is another level from most of the stuff that we have on our podcast because they just do such a tremendous job. I mean, they're a legit television studio. So
sure.
Be sure to check that out. DDP Snake Pit. Anywhere you enjoy podcasts, as Randy Savage has to have some throbbing knees right now.
He had to improvise that, guys, to get up top. Well, you know what? They still improvise a lot back then.
Sure.
There's not much improvisation now. I mean, there's some, but not like it used to be. It used to be, okay, we'll call the match in the ring. And now it's like everything's structured. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. It's just kind of showing you how it's changed, which brings up a conversation I had with a couple of guys backstage who will remain nameless. I was talking about, I asked the question, do you ever think that we, as an AEW, we will ever go into the house show business? And I brought that up because I'm the one of the mindset that you need house shows to be able to teach kids how to wrestle. And you have a lot of green kids now that are in our show that don't get the work because we don't have house shows anymore. And it was brought up to me that, no, they don't think they'll ever do that again because that's just financially, business-wise, it's not feasible to do that anymore. And I understand that. and it disappoints me, I guess, because there's a lot of me that's old school and remembers the day, but I just there's part of me that says that we need that. I mean, think of how many house shows Ric Flair wrestled in to get
so many.
Yeah, to get where he was.
Yeah.
And the same thing with Randy Savage, and the same thing with most of the guys that we see on the broadcast. But I mean, like, I'll give you for instance, Jade Cargill wrestled on Rampage recently, the TBS Championship against Anna Jay. Now, I thought the girls had a good match based on the fact that they have not put too much time in the ring, either one. And I just thought, look at this, pulling by the hair. I just think, I don't know, I miss the house shows. Is the WWE running house shows?
Yes, they are. They're doing like super shows right now. And as the story goes, they're going to be switching it up. And I think in March they're going to do a split.
You mean split for the Raw and SmackDown brand doing house shows?
It'll be two sets, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe we'll see house shows. I don't know. We did have one house show, and then we ended up recording it. I did a commentary for it. It was in Jacksonville. I don't even know if we.
I don't think it ever got released. I think they're going to save it for something in the future. Yeah. You talked a little bit about the schedule that Ric Flair used to keep with all of the house show opportunities. That actually popped up a few years ago where someone found the old booking sheet from the National Wrestling Alliance for 1983.
Wow.
January 16th through the 22nd, he was in Kansas City, Sunday through Saturday. The 23rd through the 29th, Sunday through Saturday, he was in Atlanta. January 30th through February 5th, he was in Texas, Sunday through Saturday. Then the 6th through the 10th, he was in Charlotte. The 11th, St. Louis. The 12th, Charlotte. The 13th through the 19th, he was in Florida. The 20th, he was in Toronto. He was finally off for the first time that year, the 21st, the 22nd, and 23rd of February. But then he would leave for New Zealand on the 24th. Jesus. He would arrive in New Zealand on the 25th. He would wrestle on the 26th. And then he would wrestle between New Zealand and Singapore, the 27th through the 5th. He wrestled March 6th, where he would leave the USA and arrive in the USA on Sunday, March 6th. Have that Monday off. Then the 8th through the 12th, he was in Charlotte. The 13th through the 19th, he was in Mobile. The 20th, he was in Toronto. The 21st through the 24th, he was in Kansas City. The 25th, he was in St. Louis. The 26th, he was in Kansas City. Texas, March 27th through April 2nd. April 3rd through April 9th, he was in Atlanta. April 10th, he was in Toronto. The 11th through the 16th, he was in Florida. The 17th, he was in Florida. He was in Puerto Rico the 18th through the 23rd. He was in Charlotte the 24th through the 28th. He was in St. Louis on the 29th, the 30th in Charlotte. And then May 1st through the 7th, he's back in Atlanta. The 8th through the 14th, he's in Oregon. You get the idea.
Yeah.
There were no days off. I mean,
right.
I guess you had some days off on airplanes, but as we're like halfway through the year here, he's had 4 days off.
Right. And
let's track it here.
Over Miami right now.
Flair trying. Well,
I'll tell you what, he's shining on one end. I know that.
Oh God.
I'm gonna tell you what, that's the moon over Tampa Bay right there.
Oh, we have now
Somebody
seen
reached
it all.
out.
Yes, we have seen it all.
This place has gone crazy.
1, 2, it is not over. No, don't ring that bell. It's not over. He said 2.
We are where the big boys play, my friend.
We got a lot more of Ric Flair to see.
I just wanted to hear you say, don't ring that bell. We're not through. I wanted to see how you would cover for the bell. There's the low blow.
Okay.
Well, you ever get the pills like that before? Anybody ever punch you in the yam bag?
No, not at all.
Okay. What were you saying?
When you would say like he would be in like Florida for like 4 days, he was working all 4 of those days in house shows in Florida and maybe TV as well. So it wasn't like, he was in Florida 4 days. He had an off day there. He didn't. He worked the entire time. And I wonder I don't know how Flair was, but I wonder if, and we look at it from afar and we say, oh, they had no off days. But they probably didn't want off days. They probably loved work.
100% Flair didn't.
Yeah, they love working. Here we go again. Holy shit.
Another time. Why aren't we doing all these moons over Miami?
I don't know, but it's a wonder. Look at this. It's a wonder that Space Mountain just didn't flop right out there.
Well, it's on the front of males.
Well, I know it's on the front.
I don't know what's going on with your deal, but
I know it's on the front. I get it, but it's not too far from yanking that whole thing down.
But he's not literally trying to fuck himself here, Tony. It's not going to be in the hindquarters here.
I'm sorry, what?
He's not trying to fuck himself. So he's not trying to tuck it underneath and have it come out the backside.
No, I'm saying it's not too far from having the tights go all the way off, is what I'm saying.
Did you ever have Lois like come around the corner of the house and you have your britches down and you just stretch your sack all the way out and just show her, give her a little peeky boo? Or did you ever like pull it over your wrist like it was a watch and be like, you know what that means? Time to fuck. Something like me. Did you do anything like that? Or did you like grab the base of your scrotum and squeeze to where the pills are at the front and sort of pull, and you can be the brain. Did you do any of that?
Where do you come up with this shit?
I do all that stuff pretty routinely around the house. You do any of that?
The brain. That's some sick shit right there. The brain. Oh God. Oh, Lordy. And look at it. Look at this. Look at this. The WWE or the WWF back then is making us do shit. Go wide. Go wide. Good God. Isn't that terrible? And I'm sure back in Connecticut they were saying, ha, 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 ha. See what we did. Okay. What's she got? Oh, powder. Okay, powder. She missed. My God, she missed. Oh, Liz, go take off her shoe here. At least I got that shot. What's she doing with the shoe? She hands it to Rick. Let's see if we can get our reaction there. Want to track it?
The shoot of Flair.
Macho Man rolls him up. Flair's pinned 1, 2. No, he's got Liz's shoe. He nailed it.
I can't believe it.
And he comes 1, 2, 3. Ric Flair wins. Ric Flair wins.
Keep your eye on Elizabeth.
Yes.
Keep your eye on Elizabeth.
Somebody needs to keep a look there.
Get a camera on Elizabeth right now.
What a twist of fate that was.
What has happened here?
Elizabeth has turned on Randy Savage. And she's tearing.
Yes.
There's the shoe.
And she's ecstatic.
And now she's with woman. This is unbelievable.
We are absolutely dumbfounded here that Elizabeth has turned on Randy Savage and Hulk Hogan is coming out. Hulk Hogan is coming out.
Oh yeah, he's on the run right here. Tony, sometimes picture is worth 1,000 words, my friend. Take a look at this.
This is unbelievable. Hogan's got a chair.
What is he doing down here? He's got enough to worry about.
Savage has been robbed of the World Heavyweight title thanks to Elizabeth and the shoe that she slipped to Flair, and he nails Arn Anderson as Hogan, but Flair escapes. Anderson trying to get out. Hogan grabbing towards Anderson.
But the bottom line is, we've got ourselves a new world champion 13 times. That man right there, Ric Flair, has done it. He said he was going to do it.
A lot of blood on that shot.
He's done it.
Ric Flair with woman and Elizabeth.
Let's dip out the audio there. And wow, it was quite a moment. And
What do you think? I mean, that's a big time, long term story right there.
That is that. I was thinking the same thing, that Liz and Randy were a big story, and Hogan comes in with a patch on his eye, and the WWE is jumping up and down with glee that they impacted our show by the wide shots. So there you go. Man, I liked it. Here's the shoot. They did. I was afraid that maybe that we would miss that shot, but no, we got it. All right. Very cool.
Main event coming up.
And how long they go? 13 minutes?
Way too damn long.
Yeah.
15 minutes and 4 seconds. Meltzer was like, kind of a boring match. Giant used the chokeslam, but Hogan popped up, because why wouldn't he?
Yeah.
Hogan kept running Giant into the cage and actually bladed him, except somehow he didn't get any blood. So they called it as if Giant was bleeding, but if he was, nobody could see it. Hogan then used 3 leg drops, but Giant popped up. The two climbed up to the top and traded chops until the Giant did the Nestea plunge into the ring, and Hogan climbed over for the win. After the match, Sullivan hit Hogan with the chair, but he popped up and got the chair and chased Sullivan into the ring. And at this point, with Sullivan and Giant already in, out came Ming, Barbarian, Morris, Zodiac, Gang, Shark, along with Jimmy Hart to make it 9-on-1.
Oh, boy.
So naturally, Hogan beat them all up until the Loch Ness Monster showed up, but they held back from getting him into the cage. Of course, that's building towards the Super Cage pay-per-view, uncensored. Let's take a listen to what Bobby's saying.
His mind too. He had the horseman in the back, but I did not. I did not think for one moment that Elizabeth was going to become involved pro Ric Flair.
There's more to this story, and hopefully if we don't find out tonight, we will find out more live on WCW Monday Nitro this coming Monday, tomorrow night live from Tampa, and then of course on WCW Saturday night. Some questions, hopefully some answers about what transpired here.
I have never seen the amount of gamesmanship, if you will, back and forth, and what has happened here now with the Nature Boy Ric Flair becoming World Heavyweight Champion again for the 13th time right here at Super Brawl.
All right, we do have Hulk Hogan back in the locker room right now. Let's go to Mean Gene. Gene, what about this?
Well, I think it conclusively once again proves that Ric Flair is the dirtiest player in the game today. And here's one man I know that's not going to disagree with me on that subject. Hulk Hogan, I have got a big problem in trying to make heads or tails of what just went on out there.
Well, you know something, brother? The last thing I thought was Liz would stab the Macho Man in the back, brother. Maybe it goes back to 4 years ago when they separated, man, legally. Maybe it goes back to things I don't understand. But as far as I'm concerned, brother, Macho and I are on our own. Elizabeth is a turncoat. Flair has gotten each and everybody that's gotten his path, brother. As far as I'm concerned, brother, Liz put that spike in the Macho Man's eye. And if you think about it, brother, a week ago, her shoe came off pretty darn easy when Flair jabbed me in the eye, brother.
You know, you've got your own set of problems because just moments from now, Hulk, you're going to enter that steel cage. We've seen, it's been demonstrated how dangerous a match can be, and you've got 7 foot 4 inches, 400 pounds of Giant on your hands.
Well, you know something, brother? There's a little different story that's going to be going on tonight out there. My match, brother, is unsanctioned, dude. The referee is going to be on the outside of the ring. The only way to survive, dude, is to climb over the top or to go through the door, brother.
Hulk Hogan, you know, last week on Nitro, your vision was impaired to your very left. Now, that could happen tonight in this match and really turn this thing upside down.
Oh, yeah, brother. You know, I thought Liz was going to be watching my blind side, brother. I thought maybe the Macho Man would be watching my blind side. But the way things go now, I can see to the front, brother. I can see to the right. And as far as I'm concerned, all the Hulkamaniacs, dude, and the big man upstairs as my witness will be guarding my blind side. What's that giant gonna do?
Unsanctioned, ladies and gentlemen, Hulk Hogan and the Giant inside that 15-foot steel cage. Now this match unsanctioned. The referee will be out on the outside when the Giant and Hulk Hogan enter the ring, and the door will be closed. Ladies and gentlemen, we promised it, double main event, double cage here at Super Brawl. Truly something else. With that in mind, let's get back to the ring and Michael W. Buffer.
So how many brothers I wish we would have had our brother count there. Because Lord, there had to be about 43 brothers in there.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. We should have done the brother count. I was thinking about something. I'm seeing Hogan there, and let me ask you this: what do you think Hogan is going to be most remembered for? Hulkamania or Hollywood Hogan?
Hulkamania.
Okay, me too.
As
Although,
fan,
although the Hollywood Hogan thing was a big deal, obviously.
unbelievable, but it didn't lead to cartoons and lunch boxes and all that jazz.
Right. Yeah, and I get that. And of course, if it wasn't for Hulkamania, Hollywood Hogan wouldn't have had the impact it had. So but I guess there's some people that think on a national level, maybe I don't know.
I don't think anybody could even really argue that. I do think Hogan is criminally underrated as far as when people talk about the contributions to wrestling. It feels like a lot of times people, more and more, they start making these lists and Mount Rushmore conversations without Hogan in it. It's just, had Hulk Hogan not become had the NWO not existed, I don't think Stone Cold happens the way it did.
Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, you're right. And listen, the people who shit on Hogan are the people who have what I call the Meltzer bias. They just didn't like him. He wasn't the quote unquote worker, and he had all these political things going on backstage. And you know what? Those things backstage politically happen because we let them happen. But I've always been a big Hulk Hogan fan. In many ways. Because I remember the Hulkamania. I remember Hulkamania. Hell, how old, let's see, in the 80s, you were like in middle school, right? No,
I was born in 1981. So when Hulkamania started, I was 2.5 years old.
So you were, yeah. All right. So you were very, very young.
Yeah.
Right. But those were great days in wrestling. Even though, in 83, I was working for a competitor, I thought those were great days in wrestling. The amount of attention that Hulk Hogan gave to the business, being on the cover of Sports Illustrated, this was something else. And here we got our buddy Paul White, who, by the way, we all knew at that time that he could move and work way better than any guy that size we'd ever seen. And for him, after talking to him, being in the ring with Hulk Hogan was a big moment for him because he grew up in South Carolina and he was a big Hulkamaniac, according to all that he's talked about. And so now he's in with his idol here. And again, as a big man, boy, Paul White could move, couldn't he?
Oh, big time.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, he's such an athlete here in this era. It's crazy to think about even.
Yeah. And again, like all big men, including Hogan, he has certainly had his bumps and injuries, and he's had hip surgery and hip replacement, and it comes from not only age, but it also comes from just all the bumps, buddy. You got a bump card, right? God. So this is we're in the middle of the Dungeon of Doom stuff, right? Are we at the end of it?
Yeah. Dungeon of Doom stuff is really what we're going to be doing on the next show, with the whole 98 guys versus, you get where I'm going.
Yeah.
Hey, so let me mention this show, this match, Meltzer gave 1 star.
1 star.
1 star.
Whoa, man.
And when it came to the worst match poll, it came in 3rd. They thought Konnan and One Man Gang was worse. I agree. They thought Kevin Sullivan and Brian Pillman was worse. It's more of a story than a match to me.
Right.
But this comes in 3rd. Overall, though, as we start winding down the show, and I know it's not done yet, 21.8% thumbs up, 59.7% thumbs down, 18.5% thumbs in the middle. What say you, Tony Tone? Thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle.
Well, I look at it through WCW colored glasses. I'm going to say thumbs in the middle. I didn't think I don't know. I didn't think it was that bad of a show. I don't think you can give the show a thumbs down. It had some intriguing storylines, and obviously the most intriguing storyline was the one that was a work shoot, but the Mean Gene interviews in the back. You know, I don't know what they're rating on. Just were they watching the show, or just they rated based on the matches? I love the Mean Gene stuff in the back. I love the Liz turn, which was, if you think about Randy, we talked about it, we think about Randy and Liz, and how much they have done together. Her turning on him was quite a big moment. The Luger thing was cool. So, yeah, thumbs in the middle. And some of the bad matches, you know, brought it down, but I don't think you give it a thumbs down. That's say me. Now, fast forward, years later, there's going to be a lot of thumbs downs here. But then again, you know, sometimes we look back at those shows, Conrad, during the real bad era of WCW, and the shows sometimes not that bad, are they? We shut on them back then, we look back, and then when we watch them, it's like, hey, there's some good things that went on here. And this is obviously before the Cruiserweight era. So once the Cruiserweights hit, things are really going to pick up. God, Jimmy worked the crowd so well. That's so important. We don't talk about that enough. And I know we mentioned a couple of weeks ago when we talked about Alex Abrahantes and how he works the crowd with the Lucha Brothers, but working the crowd as a manager is so underrated. Has Hogan juiced already? No, he hasn't. Yeah, you know, these guys doing it. You got two big guys. This is all you're going to get from them.
Yeah.
That's it. I mean, you're not going to get, you know, Ura Kanrana off the top rope.
Or is that why you pronounce it now? Ura?
Yeah, Ura. That's what Konnan told me to pronounce it one time.
Okay.
He said it's Ura Kanrana.
Okay.
And or you're not going to get a Tiaris off the top rope.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah. Or a tope tupi, or a tope suicida. Not going to get it from these big guys. You'll get plotting and bear hugs and slow work and grabbing and throwing up against. That's what you're going to get. I don't know what you're waiting for. So what I'm thinking is, or what I'm saying is that basically Meltzer knew what he was going to give this match from the get-go. He knew in his mind, this match is going to be shitty, and regardless of what they do, I'm going to give it a shitty rating. There's bias in that. There's bias in everything we do, but not to shit on Dave Meltzer, because I like Dave, respect him. I like Wade Keller a lot, respect him. It's about as far as it goes. But you have in your mind, you think, I'm going to rate this low. It's either going to be a 1-star or below. And so maybe by Meltzer giving this a 1-star, it was better than he thought it would be.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's given it a lot. I mean, over the years, he's given a lot of Hogan matches really, really poor ratings.
Yeah. How that kid get up in the air for a big guy like that. Now Hogan has juiced here. I think, yeah.
Do you view this era of WCW? I mean, obviously it's not nearly as hot as it's going to get with the NWO, but you know, you've said a lot. Oh, I just thought they were going to come close the door anytime. Now, yeah. I think you really mean like 91, 92, 93, 94, 95. But at this point, Nitro's on the air. You're going live every week. You're competing with Vince. You're back and forth. There's rumors. I mean, you've got Hogan now. You've got Savage now. There's rumors that Kevin Nash might be coming in, or Davey Boy might be coming in. And supposedly WCW turned a profit for the very first time in 1995. I'm saying all that to say, did you start to feel like, okay, well?
Yeah, I did. And I did and when we had Hogan and Flair at Bash of the Beach in 94. That's when it started. But 90, 91, 92, and 93, no. Even the beginning of 94. No, I thought, well, not much longer, guys. Especially during the Jim Hurt era. Jesus.
Right.
That was a shit show from the word go. And that's what caused me to call Vince and beg for my job back. Working under that regime. That was just that was fucking nuts. That was just combative and everybody pissed off at everybody every day and looking to fuck someone over, and wow, just didn't need that stress in my life. And of course I was younger, so I still thought that I could have an impact in the business. Backstage, in the front office. And I didn't. And now I don't worry about that.
It's a different, it's almost like a whole new ball game, is it not?
Yeah. Yeah, for all the talk about, oh, it was better back in the day, it wasn't. No, it was. Working conditions are insanely better now than they used to be.
Well, I think when people are saying it's better back in the day, they're thinking about in their fandom. And I think it has more to do with the fan than it does the actual presentation of the wrestling.
Yeah, you're right.
Like, you and I've had a theory that we've talked about here that our old great close personal friend Brian Rogers from South Carolina first dropped on me, that everybody has a 10-year period. So it's like a 10-year period of music that you like best of all.
Right.
A 10-year period of television shows or movies or wrestling or sports. Like if you ask me, hey, name 8 49ers from, your favorite 49ers team with Joe Montana back in the day, buddy, I could rattle it off.
Yeah.
But if you were to say, hey, name 6 49ers today, I would struggle.
Yeah.
So I think it was just, that's when I was at my height of my football fandom. And this, what we're watching is not exactly when I'm at my height of my wrestling fandom. But if you ask me something about 97, I could probably nail it.
Sure.
But if you ask me about 2017, I'm going to struggle.
Yeah.
And I think it has more to do with me and less to do with the product. And I say that because, there's times where I've been watching, she doesn't watch anymore, but a few years ago when my daughter was watching, she was so in love with, this thing or that thing. And I'm like, what, you like that?
Mm.
So, it's just not for us. That's all.
Yeah. No, I get that. I've mentioned on the show before that I can basically name every World Series champion from 1955 probably through 2000 and probably through 2005, 6, 7, 8, 2008. But then I got lost.
Yeah.
After that, it's like, I'm not so sure.
Look at how terrible this is. A bear hug in the middle of the ring. I'm glad that we don't see this anymore. This is just not good.
You don't like bear hugs, I know.
Well, don't get me wrong. I've seen them where they're done well, but where these guys are just, look, they're trying to dock right now. Yeah. They're trying to see who's Peter's going to battle, who's going to win. They're playing arm wrestling with wiener meats.
No, they're not. He's trying to stick his hands down, but okay. Yeah. This is a version of the Yeti dry humping Hulk Hogan. And Hogan's going out. My God. He can't take much more. I love how Kevin Sullivan would paint his forehead. I've got to call Kevin, see how he is, check up on him.
He's just recently started doing another podcast again. I think he's working with the wrestling historian on Instagram, him and Dutch Mantel. So,
very
lots
good.
of folks telling some stories out there these days.
Yeah, man. A lot of great stories out there. This is the era, too, where I think Jimmy Hart and I were riding together a lot. There was a time where, of course, we would do a pay-per-view, and then we would go to do Monday Nitro, so we would drive somewhere else to do Nitro. Like, for instance, just between St. Pete and Tampa wasn't much, but we would drive some. Then of course, the Thunder era came in. But a lot of times there was a period where Jimmy Hart and I drove together a lot. And then all of a sudden it stopped. It's almost as if Jimmy got mad at me for some reason. I don't know what happened, but we stopped riding together. And I don't know.
Should we call him and ask?
Nah, I really enjoyed his company. And I specifically remember, and I think I've mentioned this before, one night where we drove from Sacramento to Reno, and we drove across through Donner's Pass, and it was snowing like hell. And I was driving, he was in the front seat, and Oakland was in the back seat. And we were playing NSYNC in their brand new, yes, he loved boy bands. Jimmy loved boy bands. So he wanted to hear the new NSYNC album or cassette, and we listened to it and played it. And we're singing along with it and kept replaying some of the songs, and Gene started singing along with us. And I'm thinking, me and Okerlund and Jimmy Hart are singing Bye, 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 and it's snowing like hell. You can't get any better than that. Wow. Yeah, Jimmy, of course, Jimmy was in the Boys Band, right? I mean, he was in
the Gentrys.
The Gentrys, right. Keep on Dancing. They played that on Sirius XM the other day.
He's one of the nicest dudes in wrestling, too, by the way.
He's one of the hardest working promoters in wrestling, too. He always came up with ideas about how to do things. I'm really, really upset that his tiki bar didn't last. But there you go. I guess it went down even before COVID.
Here comes a bunch of a big body slam, maybe, and then a bunch of leg drops. Let's track it and hear the audience here.
Okay.
Bayfront. I don't think the Giant. Go down right now. Don't let him try to pick you up.
Here he goes. He got him up.
Don't believe that.
Yes, believe it, brother. Believe it, Bob.
Yeah, you better believe it, Hulkamania. Big leg.
Get out of there now. Give him another one and get out of there.
2 legs.
How about another one?
He's
All
going
right.
for 3.
Yeah.
3 legs.
Yes.
And as we say in Virginia, boys, he ain't getting up.
Gordon cut it there. What do you think of that? Boys, he ain't getting up.
As we say in Virginia, boys, he ain't getting up. But he did get up, by God. Hey, he slammed him with pretty much ease that time.
Yeah.
That's
well,
pretty...
it's a different animal to slam Andre versus.
Yeah.
I mean, Paul White here can keep up.
Right. Yeah, Paul can help you up. Andre, in his later years, obviously could not. But after 3 leg drops, Paul comes back up. Now, whoa, that's something.
There's the Nesty plunge, and here he comes.
Oh, that's right. The idea is to escape the cage.
Yes, it's the old WWF bullshit rules.
Right.
And there it is. Hulk Hogan wins, and immediately he's greeted with a chair across the back from Kevin Sullivan.
Look at this guy with this foam hand. What the hell?
He's really excited to show that to Kevin Sullivan. In the ring he goes, and of course everybody's excited. This means Hogan's going to be in there with the leader of the Dungeon of Doom in the chair. But guess what? The Giant's in there too, and here come the rest of the heels.
And they are going to get on his ass. And this is where we're going to reveal the Loch Ness Monster, right?
Yes, and when they start to make their way out, I think we should track it just so we can hear your call for Loch Ness, because we're going to be able to make fun of it. Let's track it. Here we go.
Ask about it.
The Barbarian.
You ask about it.
Faces of fear.
Hugh Morris is
Hugh
out.
Morris.
There's a shark.
Oh, Zodiac, one-man gang, the entire Dungeon of Doom, and he cannot get him off for long. But look at him.
This looks like a John Wayne movie.
Get him, baby. Get him all. There you go. Deal on him, Hogan. Deal on him.
The Giant. Head first.
There you go.
Now, glum him.
Glom him.
Hogan, one man fighting the entire Dungeon of Doom.
And I tell you what,
fighting seven.
Tony, the Dungeon of Doom are retreating.
Look, where's the Giant going? Where's the Giant going?
They are retreating.
And here comes the Loch Ness Monster.
Look at the size of that guy.
The Giant is walking back to the locker room. He is gone, and the Loch Ness Monster will make it 8 men to go in to pummel Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, but you know what? I tell you what, Tony. He's got him in a situation now with that chair to where he's got him holding him at bay. And that's what he needs to do. The immortal Hulk Hogan holding off the Dungeon of Doom.
No, let him go. I want to see him go. I want to see what this is all about.
They are holding back the Loch Ness Monster because Hogan, wielding a chair, has held off the entire Dungeon of Doom. Incredible.
Wow.
As it may seem.
The man.
Oh, God. We got it right there. I was all excited to hear your big call because, we had the big Yeti, but we didn't get it there. But still, the Loch Ness Monster is here, and unfortunately, no one really cares. But boy, do we care about next week because we've got a big show coming your way. It's Wrestle War 1990.
Oh, my God.
I just absolutely love this show. This is the Wild Thing show. We got Kevin Sullivan and Buzz Sawyer taking on the Dynamic Dudes. We got Norman the Lunatic taking on Cactus Jack. We got the Rock and Roll Express taking on the Midnight Express. We got the Road Warriors taking on the Skyscrapers. We got Pillman and Zing taking on the Fabulous Freebirds. We got the Steiner Brothers taking on Ole and Arn. Then in the main event, it's Ric Flair, who has Woman by his side, defending the NWA World Heavyweight Championship against Lex Luger, who has Sting by his side. February 25th, 1990. This should be good fun, man. I'm looking forward to that one.
I am too, because how shitty is this standoff?
Yeah.
They didn't let him get into the ring. Look,
Yeah.
It's almost like there's a drunk old fat man that security's taking out here.
Is that not what it is?
I guess it is in many ways.
But right now, Tony, it looks like it's about that time.
It is about that time, ladies and gentlemen. Look, it's the Brain. It's the Brain. And I'm not talking about Bobby the Brain Heenan, but Hulk Hogan is immortal. He lives forever. We'll see you next week on What Happened When, on Wednesdays on Cumulus, but Mondays we come to you on
Patreon, patreon.com/WHW Monday. And of course, adfreeshows.com.